Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from Mail Fuzz TV. This is episode 134. I'm going to start saying that at the start of what episode we're on.
You made that sound like it was a big deal at first, and I thought it was going to be an impressive number.
They're all impressive numbers.
Is impressive. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're all impressive now.
It's not a bad number, but it's not like a nice, impressive round number to go, ooh, look what we're at.
Oh, sure. When we get to 150, I'll
Yeah,
it is a round number. It's not a prime number. So
wait,
round in this context usually meaning zeros and fives.
Matt's qualifier for round number is just it's not a prime number, which is most of them.
Yeah. 132, 136.
I assume he's confusing round with whole.
Or even.
Okay, I don't like math. You guys should just be impressed that I brought up prime numbers. Okay. Good Lord, math's the worst.
That reminded me of an old joke. Name a number 7. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, we talk about comics on this show, DC Comics specifically, and we have a big week. Week 2 this month is insane. The following books will be discussed on this show by 1, 2, or all 3 of us. Mostly at least 2 of us. There's only one book that I think is just me, but everything else at least 2 of us are talking about. So we have Detective Comics 994, which is the start of Tomasi and Mahnke's run. Although, I imagine it won't be like Tomasi and Mahnke the whole time because it's double shipping. The artist's going to have to swap around.
Yeah.
We have Batman Annual number 3 out of nowhere. We got Superman number 6. We have Wonder Woman 60, The Flash 60, Supergirl 25, Justice League Dark issue 6, The Batman Who Laughs number 1, Titans 31, Hawkman 7, Sideways 11, and Batman Damn number 2.
What a stacked week.
Joe, it's funny. I forgot how many books we had this week because I like an idiot, only read Superman on like Wednesday, and then I was busy the last couple of days, so I woke up today thinking, hey, I'll read like the 7 or so that I've got left, and then checked my list, and there was 10 I hadn't read.
And Batman Damned and the Annual are extra length.
And Supergirl.
Oh, is Supergirl?
Oh,
that's 25 anniversary.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was like, damn, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing today. But not to worry, I got them all read. We're here. Everything's done.
But were they comprehended?
Well, that's another question.
Out.
I did not claim anything on that front. So, so that's what we're going to talk about. Luckily, we're light on news this week, so we don't have to spend too much time there. Just a couple things that we do have to mention, though, is there's been some teases from some of the artists over the last couple of days, teasing, because the solicits are coming on Monday, so next week we'll be talking about the solicits, but notably the solicits next time will feature Detective Comics 1000, and a lot of the artists have been showing little snippets of their covers. However, today we did get Jim Lee's full cover for Detective 1000.
Having not seen any of the snippets, are there any notable artists involved that I should be like, ooh, looking forward to that?
I can't remember. I saw like 3 of them, and I can't remember who it is.
You're the worst.
I'm sorry.
Well, I have only seen the Lee cover, and it's very Lee. So
yeah, that's not a bad thing. It's like, of course there's a Lee cover for 1000.
Notably, Nightwing's on there, looking like old school Nightwing. He even has the finger stripes of his blue costume, which is exciting. But I'm pretty sure it's just for the cover, and we don't have proper Nightwing back yet because it's too soon, I think.
Almost certainly, unless we get a nice surprise in the solicits next month.
I'll take a nice surprise. I'll take it. We should also mention there was a leaked cover for Heroes in Crisis at issue 7, I want to say, it may have been.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It featured Poison Ivy lying on the cover dead, drawing a Flash symbol, specifically Wally's Flash symbol in blood, right? And that part's like fine, whatever. That's nothing wrong with that in concept. But it was immediately picked up by everyone for being what's the word I should use here?
Suggestive.
Sexist.
Ivy lying dead had her ass sticking in the air and her cleavage was on show and she was making like pouty lips whilst dead. So people quite naturally were miffed by this cover, and I'm putting that lightly. But funnily enough, this kind of has a happy ending because Tom King came out on Twitter later in the day and said, hey, that got leaked before it went through the approval process. I'm not a fan of that cover. It's not being used. And that was...
Yeah, they've put out the official one now.
Yeah.
It's better. It's very similar in terms of the image. It just shifted a touch.
In terms of the concept, it's the same, but it's not the
It's almost exactly the same. It's just shifted a little bit so that it's much better.
I've not actually seen the fixed version yet, but yeah, I can imagine.
I will say I laughed because obviously, so there was obviously the uproar about the positioning.
Yes.
But there was also a separate subsect of people going, no, save Ivy, and it's like, wait, clearly these people have not been reading it because it's like, and if this is the first they're hearing that she's dead.
Yeah. This is not new information.
You don't have the right to do a big campaign like that if you don't even care enough to follow along.
Yeah. Also, I'm really curious about why she's drawing Wally's symbol. Is it implying Wally did something bad, or is it saying that Wally's the key to fixing everything or something? I don't know.
Or it's just a cover and it's meaningless.
Or it's just meaningless because it's a cover and comic covers can be like that.
I like to think that it's more that he's the key, being
he's the key.
Because I don't want to let go that he's actually gone forever.
Yeah, he's the key, just like Dawn on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Why did you say that? As soon as you said that, Matt, I was like,
she was the key. The key stopping
next
glory.
Yes. Next time, yell at me. Connor.
It was too late. As soon as you said it.
Throw yourself in front of it and go, no!
What is that? Is that our Buffy siren? Like, incoming Buffy reference? Everyone assume positions. Yeah, and then the other thing we have to do before we get into the books is everyone's favourite time of the month, and that is sales figures. So November.
We don't have enough to talk about this.
November sales. Well, we'll make it quick there. If you don't fight me, it'll be quicker. So November sales figures have come in, and I will make you guess.
Just to skip them.
Number one. Shut up, Ginger. The people have spoken. They want their sales figures. What's number one, guys? What we guessing?
Heroes in Crisis.
It is not.
No.
I'll give you one hint. There was no Doomsday Clock this one, so you don't have to worry about guessing that.
Right.
It was a Marvel book.
Spider-Man.
It was a number one. It cost $8.
Clearly, we didn't buy this.
No, he definitely didn't. I don't think. But this is not a surprise. This is not a surprising one though. When I get to number 3, I'm not even going to make you guess that one because it's so goddamn weird that I'd never even heard of it. But yeah, you can guess this. They relaunched a big classic title.
Ghost Rider.
Number one, Matt. Come on now. It's shifted to weekly with this relaunch.
It's Uncanny X-Men.
There you go, Uncanny X-Men. Only the second most famous Marvel comic. But yeah.
Clearly, we didn't read it.
Yes, clearly. 176,000 copies that did. So we'll see that. Actually, we can see if it tanked because it's weekly. So I'm assuming issue 2 will also be.
Depends if it was at the. I think it might have been the last week of the month.
No, because issue 3's there. Issue 2 was 62,000 at number 15. Number 3 was number 17 with 58,000. So
a considerable drop.
A considerable drop. Yes, they had variants for that first issue. Then they had a lot of variants.
Big time.
Well, it's a number 1 from Marvel. Of course they did.
Yeah. Well, number 2 is a number 1 from DC though. What is it?
November?
We talked about it on the show, so you definitely read this.
I read too many damn books.
This is the thing. It's like by the time we get to a whole month ago, I'm like, what the hell did we read a month ago?
It was $5.
Still not helping.
Oh my god. We had like one new number 1 all month.
Have we done issue 2 yet?
We have. Oh my god.
So we must have done like issue 2 like last week.
Yes, issue 2 was last week.
What the hell did we do last week?
Connor's doing.
I'm trying to find this out.
He's doing reconnaissance. He doesn't believe me there was an issue 2 last week.
No. The Green Lantern.
Jesus. Yes, Green Lantern.
That makes sense. It's Morrison.
Yes, 113,000 copies that did. So number 3, I'm not even going to make you guess because.
Drowned Earth.
Because no, it's a Marvel book. It's a Marvel number. No, it's a Marvel number 1, and you could have a million guesses. You would never guess this. I don't think you've heard of this title because I've not heard of it.
Oh, that's a challenge, isn't it?
And it's a number 1.
Number 1. I assume it's an event or a crossover or something, but. You're never going to get
let
it,
me-
so just let me tell you.
Crossovers. Hold on.
You
Marvel
finding it.
Knights.
You finding it in a list does not count, Connor, because I can see you looking.
Marvel Knights.
It's not Marvel Knights.
Damn it.
The correct answer is Web of Venom Carnage Born issue 1.
Oh, see, I might have gone to that because the Web of Venom, the first one, Web of Venom, was fantastic.
What is this?
It's Venom in Vietnam.
Did you just have a stroke?
No, Venom in Vietnam was the first one. It's a series of one-shots connecting to the main book.
And it did 104,000 copies.
I get
Speaking of Venom, apparently, like, people are really high on that movie because it was like
fantastically awful.
Well, not just that. It was a throwback to a time when not everything was connected. Like, it could just be the standalone. Like, what the hell is this?
I mean, it's definitely a what the hell is this?
I've still not watched it. It's on my to-do list. I've heard it's a demented version of Liar Liar.
Well, had someone told me that, I would have seen it in the theater.
What I've heard about Tom Hardy's performance is that he's doing a 90s Jim Carrey impression, and which is baffling to think about.
Not that far off, to be honest.
God damn it! Now I want to watch it. I went from not get it away. I won't touch it with 10-foot pole to demented Jim Carrey. You say?
Yeah. All right, number 4. Not a Marvel book. This is not a number 1 though. This is just a.
Captain America.
He's a popular Marvel character.
Fantastic Four, Spider-Man.
Oh. Spider-Man, there you go. Amazing Spider-Man issue 10 with 103,000. And I'll tell you as well, number 7 is issue 9 of Amazing Spider-Man with 85,000. I wonder what was special about issue 10 that it went up. I guess maybe they did something special for it.
It's a round number, according to Connor.
Yes. Number 5 and 6.
For the start of a new arc.
Yes. Number 5 and 6 were both the same DC series.
Justice League.
Batman, there you go.
Issues
58 and 59 with 94 and 93,000 respectively. Number 8 was the first thing you guessed for number 1.
Heroes in Crisis.
There you go. Here's a Crisis with 83,000.
Got one.
Number 9.
Sounds so proud of himself.
Number 9 is another ongoing Marvel book. One of their biggies. Avengers, yes. Which for some reason issue 10 was $6. I'm not sure why, but it sold.
It was because it was like 800.
Oh, was it?
The number they're on, yeah, and it was a huge, big one.
If in that case, that undersold.
Yeah, well, I think I want to say 800. It might not. That might not. Because it was one of the hundreds.
Because that would have been that had tons of variants if it was like actually issue 800 that it was, or 700, whatever whatever number.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
That's actually quite bad then. I actually feel bad for that series if that's what it did for that milestone issue.
Yeah, I really enjoy Jason Aaron, but from the things I've heard about Avengers, it's not really shaping up to kind of what the expectations were.
I've read up till like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
It's got some really good elements and some elements kind of just a mess.
Well, this was issue 10, so if you're up to date.
I've read this one, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to read it in trade. I'm looking forward to it being what it is, but
I got to the end of the first arc and went, this would be reading better in trade than
it's
every other week.
It's double shipping, I think, which is why I'm not sure.
I think it's one of those it's double every other month. It's like one of those every 3 weeks schedules that Marvel
11's out. I just haven't read it yet, so I'm up to, I've read 10 though. It was extra length.
Yeah, a lot of their books do the 2-1-2-1 schedule. So number 10, I'll just tell you, is Venom with 74,000. So Venom's holding its own. So it's obviously doing quite well.
It's kind of awesome.
So just to sort of fill it, surprisingly, Fantastic Four's number 12 at 72,000. I feel like that's issue 3 though, so I feel like that's dipped quite a bit since issue 1.
It has, but there was a huge break between like issues 1 and 2. I think it was. There was like a 3-month break.
Was it okay? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Not a good sign. Justice League, for reference, was number 11 and 13 for the 2 issues, so that's not too bad.
So I'm starting to get a complex about Superman because if Bendis can't put it in the top 10, I'm gonna freak out.
I mean, a lot of those are like number 1s and events, though.
Yeah, like, the top 10, is it's like it's Batman, Spider-Man, and event number 1s and number 1s in general. Superman, because Matt always asks, so I'll just tell him. was number 20 with 54,000. Action Comics was number 30 with 49,000. So even though there's a gap in the numbers there, the actual amount's quite close in terms of units sold.
Right.
Here's something I don't understand. Maybe someone can explain the math to me in this. So number 2 and 3 were Green Lantern and Web of Venom, right? So number 2 was Green Lantern, 3 was Web of Venom, but in dollars charts, because you can sort it by dollar value, right? It switches, and Web of Venom's number 2 and Green Lantern's number 3. The reason why I'm confused is that they're both the same price. So why is it different?
Again, maybe variants, because I know DC doesn't do the variant game.
No, but they're all
like Marvel
counted
does,
on both. Like
No, it shouldn't count any differently.
The number sold includes all the variants for both, so I don't understand why they're different.
Was Venom definitely $5, not $6?
They both say it here for, I mean, unless this is wrong, but they both say $4.99.
No, fair enough.
So I don't understand how at the same price, the one selling like 6, 7, it's actually more like 9,000 less, made more money. I don't understand. It's weird.
Some deals going on the table.
some shady things going on. Aquaman Justice League Drowned Earth issue 1, the end of that crossover was number 26 with 49,000. Notably a bit under Justice League, which is weird because because the 2 issues of Justice League were the middle parts of that story.
There's people who don't realize.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what it is. I just want to give a shout out to Firefly issue 1, which landed at number 22 with 51,000, which I think is a pretty solid opening for a book like that.
Out of interest, because I haven't looked in a long time. What's the highest like Star Wars? But the Star Wars Vader.
I will just control F Star Wars and find out.
Yeah, I'm intrigued as to where they're sitting these days.
Because they used to always be in top 10 back when they started.
They are, but
big time.
I mean, to be fair, the main title is in its 50s now. I think it's actually Marvel's highest numbered book. At the
Probably
minute.
is, knowing Marvel. Yeah. Outside of things that have not went back to number 1 yet since they did the Legacy.
Yeah, not counting those. That's cheating.
They're all pretty close together, actually. Star Wars Darth Vader is the highest one at number 32.
Well, fair enough.
Because Soul's done writing that, right? Is that the only one that he's still writing?
He's still writing that one.
Okay.
At least
so no, he just dropped a bunch of Marvel books. I wasn't sure if Vader.
Are you still reading any of these, Connor?
Yeah, I'm reading all of them. I'm a couple of issues behind.
Because I know Matt's dropped them all, so I was just curious if you'd.
I've been reading. Star Wars is Gillen, so obviously I'm reading that. Vader has been excellent, so yeah. I've not. There's the Han Solo movie adaptation one. I've not touched that. I think that'll probably be in those numbers there. Poe Dameron's finished, but that was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
And they've just started a new a series of maxi series. It's basically, so the first one is Age of Republic, and it's each month there's 2 one-shots about a different character from the Republic period. So this month was Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. So it's a hero and a villain, and there'll be like 5 of each of them, and then it'll go on to Rebellion and then on to Resistance. It'll be like 3 series like that.
I tuned out that entire last minute.
No, that sounds a lot of fun. It's just when
series of one-shots.
When they started to cross over with themselves, and there was like the what's her name, the character that Gillen created,
Afra.
Afra,
great as well.
Alfalfa.
Yeah, when Afra got her own book and had a crossover, and I was like, oh, I have too much DC to read, so
quite right, Matt. Quite right.
Prices had to be made.
It's funny because Afra is probably the book that you'd like the most. It's to the Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah, but she also super annoyed me. The way that Gillen wrote her in her debut.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, Gillen's not writing her anymore anyway. He's handed it over to Cy Spurrier.
Okay.
Also, Nightwing Watch, the 2 issues were 73 and 74 with 26,000 each.
I hope
that's
down.
Free fall, like the character would from
out of curiosity, let me check. Let me check what it was in October, because I actually want to know how much that dropped by.
Because that's kind of meaningless, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was the mid-70s at 26,000 each. So I'll check what last month's.
We got to have the context. That's important.
Yeah. Where are we? 2018 October.
What we got?
We have...
What issue number was October?
October? It'd have been 50 and 51 would have been October.
Okay, so the ones where the shit went down.
Right, so Nightwing 50... Well, it was actually 86. It was actually lower. With 29,000, though. So it actually sold more copies, but was lower in the... Which means the comic sales in general were just lower this month. The other issue... If I can find it, I'll just Control F. Oh, well, Matt's mic was doing something funny there.
Yeah, it does that. So.
Yeah. Nightwing 51. Is that lower or higher than the other one? Oh, it's much higher, actually, 51. Bizarrely.
God damn it.
51 had 35,000. So it's dipped 9,000.
Well, see, this makes sense to me. It's people go, oh, new writer. So the shops order in extra. It doesn't matter who the writer is. They order in more because people might go, oh, I'll check it out.
So it's dropped 9,000 from 51 to 52. But 53 is the same, which makes sense because it's double shipping, so they can't react to it really until another month's
next
round.
one.
So 26,000 is what they're at. So I'm curious to see if it goes down further.
It better.
Fix Nightwing.
Again, free fall like the character in Bloodhaven. Just...
Yeah. Also, I just found out the X-Men Red ended at issue 11, and I'm like, well, Tom Taylor's free, so you know what? DC,
hell yeah, you know,
get in the phone.
Well, I know King says he's got another couple of years left on Batman, but just make a new Batman book for him.
Yeah,
I'm okay waiting until I'm okay waiting until King's done because it's something to look forward to. It's like, okay, well, he can have the next 100-issue run.
Yeah,
do that then. That's fine.
So sometimes I miss when characters had multiple books like that. Like at one point there was 4 Superman books. You had Superman, you had Action Comics, you had
Matt was in his element.
Adventures of.
See, the thing is, it's not
and
actually that different now though, because we've got Batman and Detective, but they double ship, so it works out the same.
Yeah, but like you had like Shadows of the Bat and Legends of the Dark Knight.
Yeah, you're thinking of 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so like there was room for like Tom Taylor to come in and tell a really fun story.
To be fair, even during the New 52, we had 4 for quite a while, didn't we? We had Batman, Detective, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight.
Batman and Robin. But Dark Knight very rarely came out. Like,
it was easily the worst one.
Yeah, shite because it was Finch, but that's not the point.
So
the point was that.
But it wasn't. My point is, it wasn't around very long. So
I think if I remember high 20s, didn't it?
Oh. Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know how many of those I read. So,
I read 2. I read exactly 2 and then just abandoned it.
Yeah.
So,
sounds about right.
But yeah, so like, I get what they're doing and there's double shipping, but I kind of would after King's done.
Matt wants a third Batman book. that's what he said.
Let me add the caveat that we can tell different kinds of Batman stories, like a Tom Taylor.
Sure.
Yeah. And give me a new Superman book as well so that I can read it. That'd be nice.
I'm serious now. Give Tom Taylor Nightwing, let him do that for the next like 2 or 3 years, and then when King's done with Batman, give him Batman.
So you want to do the same path that King did.
Basically,
do Dick for a bit and then work your way up.
We'll give him multiple books. I actually tweeted today, give King. Well, we give King more books if you want, but give Taylor like 3 books at DC. That'd be nice.
Give him whatever he wants.
If Marvel won't respect him and appreciate him, then we will.
See, and that's why I didn't get into X-Men Red, because I loved that the Resurrection of Jean.
Yeah.
That whole Phoenix one. That was a really good story. And then X-Men Red came out, and I was like, well, I know how Marvel does things. I don't know how long this book's going to be around.
Well, that was the thing, though. His previous book, All New Wolverine, did last, it was 36 issues. It was fine. It was like 6 volumes. It was, it was solid. Yeah. So I was expecting the same with Red, and I didn't know it was ending. Apparently, obviously, it got announced when it was solicited, like, 2 months ago, but someone just mentioned on Twitter, oh, I'll miss X-Men Red, and I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean, miss X-Men Red?
Yeah, I saw Taylor put out a post about it on Wednesday, big Facebook thing about the last issue, and
I'm trade waiting, and I'm finding out that apparently Volume 2 will be the last trade. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. This is why you don't get invested in Marvel books.
Damn it, Marvel.
Unless it's oof.
So yeah. Anyway, that's a bit of a side tangent down into other publishers, but we've got a lot of books to talk about. So I think without further ado, we will dive into the long list. And do you know how much time I spent debating the order of the first 2 books before I settled on the order? And ultimately I decided that the start of a new run in Detective was more important than just a one-off annual, no matter how good the annual might be. So we're going to start with Detective Comics issue 994, which actually has a banner at the top that says Countdown to 1000, which is cool. and it's obviously Peter J. Tomasi, Doug Mahnke on the art, and this is the start of their run.
They must really trust Tomasi to get them there, because he was on action in the lead up to 1002.
Superman, you mean?
Superman.
He was on. It was Jurgens that was on action.
That's right.
Who?
So don't disregard what I say.
Yeah.
Everything blends together now. I can't.
Yeah, because Jurgens actually ended his run in 1000 in one of the stories.
Yeah.
Which is
That's right.
which is really neat to end it, because he obviously Bendis was starting at 1000 and he was ending at 1000.
Right. Yeah. Nice crossover.
Yeah.
But
not if you're Connor.
So first thing I want to say about Detective.
That wasn't even an insult, Connor.
I know, but just stop reminding me.
Is
I want to think about it.
I love Monkey on Batman, because his art style really goes into darkness well, and I don't mean darkness like content. I mean like the shadows and everything, and I really enjoyed the look of this book.
I will say I agree for the most part. I had a few glaring problems, like the second page is this big splash page for the title credits. What's going on with his leg? Like, it just shrinks around his knee. Like, his knee is this tiny little Lego joint.
He's dislocated his knee. Mid-grapple. Yeah. And it's a bit of spot of pain. That's fair. His leg looks a bit off.
Also, his chest looks insanely huge.
Well, he just got done on chest day. So,
I don't know. This was possibly the worst page of the book in terms of the art. I'm like, looking at this going, this is ugly.
So, yeah, so the premise of this run, or this issue, kicking off this arc, is that there is a murdered couple who is found, and they look and have been murdered exactly in the same way as the Waynes. Because I actually got a little bit worried the first page when it was like redoing the Waynes' death.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, why are we doing this?
Because if there's one thing in like Batman I never need to say again, is the Waynes murder, because we've seen it so many times.
I don't need to see Martha shot in the face again. Zack Snyder, thanks.
Yes. I don't need to see the Wayne's death anymore, but then it became kind of relevant because it's the idea is someone's actually copying this, and like they've set up these people with the exact wounds. They've used plastic surgery to make their faces look exactly like the Waynes. So even Gordon's like recognizing this, and right away I think they're setting a precedent that this run will be a bit more detective focused, because you've got Batman with Gordon at a crime scene, going over the details, the body, how's it left there.
Yep.
Good.
Sure.
No, that's what I want. I want detective to feel different, right? I don't want it to do a Batman. I want it to be detective-y.
Well, yeah, but it's notable in the sense that it's different to what Detective was before. But it's not like Detective was like Batman before. It was like, for a while, it was a team book.
Yeah, that's clearly gone. So if we're doing just a Batman book again, I want it to be detective.
I agree there. I also like that they're keeping the Mark of Zorro, like, because Nolan made it into an opera, and that made sense for the time. But just the idea that they were going to the movies. And Zorro kind of helped inspire Batman. I always like that idea. So the fact that it's staying here because the bill, or the pamphlet, whatever that is, was in the pocket of the victim. So someone intimately knows, whoever set this up, the Waynes.
Yeah. Can I just say, actually, see, as I'm like browsing through this to like talk about pages and like moments and stuff and reminding myself, because like I say, I read 10 books today. I kind of need to look at them. Is I hate that every book this week had like 8 extra pages at the back, so it's hard to judge where I'm going in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah,
not needed.
Anyway,
do you know what that would annoy me more, or less, if that had been last week? Because at least it was like, hey, it's next week, check it out.
It's weird the same week. Yeah.
By the time I've already bought my books, it's like, well, hang on, what? I've come back from the shop now. I don't need these pages here.
Yes.
Yeah, I've already bought it and I've already read it. I don't need to revisit it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So soon, Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my only critique actually of the Batman Gordon scenes is at one point Batman almost slips up and refers to the Martha body as just like my mother. That's what he's going to say, and he corrects himself and says Martha. And
he can't help it. It's Martha. And what's he going to do?
Martha. Why did you say that name? And I get that the point here is that he's so caught up in the how personal this is that he actually kind of slips, and I get that that's the point. But part of me it feels kind of weird that like, and I don't want to say that, oh, Batman would never slip up because he's Batman. That's not what I'm saying. It felt weird. Or it feels weird because I feel like Gordon would pick up on it and it wouldn't just go unnoticed.
Well, see, again, but that's where I feel that Gordon has figured this out.
Oh,
he's
just
just playing along.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Right.
so in my head, that's it. So he kind of, we don't see it here, but he gives him a look like, did he? No, okay. I'm going to keep it secret for him still,
Yeah, okay, all right, okay.
But I do like that Gordon was the responding officer because he makes a comment about if his memory's right, then, this is how the bodies were staged.
Yeah, there was that
when
moment
he
where I was
got
like,
there.
they were my first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wants to say that it was his first double homicide as well.
Right.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the detective stuff. And then the second half of the book is Bruce calls Leslie Tompkins to talk about the murders, and she's attacked by a monstrous presence of some kind, mysterious new figure. And it's basically Batman's racing towards her to save her, and she's she's on the phone with him the whole time, talking about him chasing it. And this was a very horror movie like, which is kind of what I liked about it, was that she's kind of running up the stairs, she's trying to like get away. I was into that element of it, and then Batman eventually gets there, and it turns out that no, this was kind of a trap to lure Batman in.
I will say I like this half a lot less.
That's fair.
The big monster thing. I was like, oh, this is like this really grounded investigation. I thought that's where we were going, and then no, big monster, go.
It's kind of funny because it was the same kind of reaction I had at the start of the book, where the first page where the monster jumps out with the bat signal, I thought, oh, really, we're doing a monster? But then I liked kind of how it was played out for the rest of the issue, where it was him on the comms the whole time and her running up the stairs and trying to hide, and like the rest of it played out in a really fun way that made it work for me. But I agree, I had that initial kind of, oh, we're doing a monster.
It never quite got past that for me. Even though I think it's all right what it's doing, it felt like a jarring shift to me still. Also,
bad 2 weeks for the bat signal.
Yeah.
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 Also, the panel where he jetpacks off the Batmobile. That's rough.
I'm going back.
The size of him, like he's sticking out in weird ways. I don't understand what's happening there.
I was about to argue with you, saying, that looks great what you're talking about, but you mean the panel at the top?
The panel at the top where he's actually launching out.
He's got a huge torso.
He's got a gut, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. And it's just things like that I see as I'm going throughout the book that kind of just stop it being as good as it could. Like overall, I really like the art, but it's just there's enough of these panels that like feel horrifically wrong that kind of ruin it for me.
See, I think we've always differed on this, where for you a couple of panels that look a bit off kind of ruin it for you, whereas if the art generally has a look that I like, I don't really care if there's one or two mistakes.
Yeah, that's how I am, because I didn't notice it until now.
I think it depends how much. If it's bad enough that it pulls me out of the story and I'm looking at it going, oh, what's that? What's going on there? Instead of just reading it.
You notice them a lot more than we do, though. I feel like you notice them like I feel like for every one you mention, I notice maybe half of them.
Okay.
I don't think Connor goes through with a fine-tooth comb after he reads them and goes, okay.
No,
Looks weird.
Clearly, it's just in the way I'm reading it. Is that I'm seeing these things, it's catching my eye for whatever reason, and and it takes me out of it.
Carl's someone who watches movies and just looks for continuity errors. He doesn't even like hear the plot or the dialogue. He just looks for the mistakes.
I virtually never notice continuity errors.
And see, and I figure I read differently than you because I read first for the story, right? And I'm reading the balloons, and then I look over the art. But I don't study the art, and I don't know if that's a good or
I
bad
go
thing.
where my eye leads me. So in this panel where he's blasting off with the jetpack, I start at the top on the left at the car, and I'm moving across into the trail, and then I'm getting to Batman. So I'm seeing Batman before I get to the word balloons.
With
me, I see the word balloons first, and then I get the big middle image. So like, I don't know.
That's just funny. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. It depends on the panel. It depends on the page. It's all very contextual for me as to what panels stick out to me that I spend time on and which ones just kind of like fly by, because they're just like quickly in succession of like what the movement is, kind of thing. And I think that's maybe where this falls into for me, is that this panel of him jumping out the car was almost like a filler panel. And that it's important that it needs to be there for the pace, but it doesn't like stick out to me on its own as like being one that I spent time on as I was looking.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, which is just to say that I'm just trying to explain why it necessarily didn't stick out to my eyes. But
yeah,
now
think
you pointed it out, I can see the big lumpy stomach.
Why I catch them because I read it in the way that I read it. I get to that before I get to any of the words, so it kind of it really is noticeable when you read it that way.
Yeah,
right. It's one of those once you see it, you can't unsee it type moments.
Yeah.
So you know,
and then once you see it, I kind of get stuck on it before I get onto the words because I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. So the reveal at the end, the twist at the end here is that this monster breathes or sprays gas into Leslie Tompkins, and I have to give it credit. I never saw what this last page was going to be because there's nothing about this thing that kind of relates him to the Joker. There's nothing that makes me think, oh, this is Joker related or this is
other than the gas being green.
Sure, yeah. But even that, like, I think like Scarecrow gas is probably being green sometimes, like
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
it's a noxious gas.
Yeah.
More often than not, it's going to be green.
Not that I even jumped to Scarecrow either. I just kind of like, that's a gas.
It's
a gas. That's this thing.
I'm not saying I jumped to Joker either. I just, when I look back, I was like, oh yeah, it was green.
But yeah, so she gets the whole Joker face, smiley toxin kind of thing going, and that's the reveal at the end. So I mean, what are the implications here? If this is connected to the bodies, then is this like Joker saying he knows who he is? And if it's not connected, then how is this Joker plot? If it even is Joker, did someone just get a hold of his gas?
I'm kind of thinking that might be the case.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very possible. Especially since I don't necessarily expect every writer to do a Joker story the first time they write an arc.
Tomasi do a Joker thing in Batman and Robin? I don't remember.
Outside of tie-ins to Death of the Family, probably not.
No, I'm going back through them. I don't think so.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Yeah. Because outside of Death in the Family, Damian really never has really dealt with Joker. So I don't think he would have had the opportunity.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I like the scene where Bruce... Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of another book. Ignore me.
Yeah.
There's a scene in another book with a morgue, and I was thinking of that scene, and I thought it was in this.
Okay. I know what you're thinking of.
But no, it's not the Wayne doppelgangers that are on the morgue table and that. It's another doppelganger. So no, I enjoyed this issue. I thought it's a promising start for for a start, there was no plaques being read out loud for 20 lines of dialogue.
Well, and also you mentioned when it starts with the Wayne's death, you're like, oh no, not again, and then Tomasi turns it.
Yeah.
Just plays with expectations, and I appreciated that. But I also give Tomasi more leeway because I generally like what he's done at DC.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. I like the detective half more than I like the monster half, but I think the monster half actually got quite good once it got going with what it was doing. So
that's fair enough.
So we'll see how it goes. I guess we'll rate the book then. Matt, what are you giving it?
It's a 8. I liked more than I didn't like. So and the art, the way Mahnke draws most of the panels, I thoroughly enjoy it. So
yeah, but hey, he didn't have a cross that appeared out of nowhere in one scene. So
no, yeah, exactly.
So you have to give him credit for that.
So that might be the only continuity error that I can think of that really bothered me.
I never noticed continuity errors.
In movies, I was in movies.
Okay, what are you giving it?
I'll give it a 7. I still like it for the most part.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with Matt's 8. It's not like spectacular, amazeballs. Like this has changed my life, but it's really solid, and I'm digging what it's doing. It feels fresh, feels different to what we've had recently, and that's nice. Outside of there being another decoy or doppelganger morgue kind of scene in another book, but that's not this book's fault that another book's doing a similar thing. Alright, that'll take us on then to the Batman Annual issue 3, which is really weird and out of nowhere because DC are very predictable and have a very strict sort of structure to how they release their books. Marvel feels a lot more random by comparison, but DC, we often talk about what a week 1 feels like right now, what a week 2 is right now, what a week 3. DC are very,
clockwork.
Yeah, so they've got a schedule they kind of stick to, and annuals are a week 5 thing. When a month has a week 5, we get some annuals. So it's really really weird to get like a random annual.
Now, The question is this months late or is it months early?
Well, the last week 5 was October.
No. But specifically relating to this
To the annual.
and the end, and the ending.
Well,
this is late or early, whichever one.
Well, this is number 3.
Yeah.
And Rebirth happened in 2016 in May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then this is early. Because it hasn't been 3 years. So there's not really enough time.
If they did one in 2016.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to wait a year before they do an annual.
Right. So I'm saying this one's early because that means 2018 would have had 2 annuals.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. No, he's right. He's right. This is definitely a shorter gap between the last annual and this than.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, it's called an annual, but it's kind of like whenever we want to put it out, you know, like.
Yeah.
You can call it semi-annuals.
Yeah, because some books will have an annual every year. Some books will have an annual one year, then go 4 years before the next one.
Now, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I love this issue. I'm glad it's come out.
Yes.
But if it was me at DC, I'd have been like, okay, we really love this script. We love this art. We've got it completed. We're going to hold this in the bank for a few months.
Yes, until it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. The reveal that it was Father's Day was a twist because it's not out in Father's Day. If this came out in the month of Father's Day, we might have saw it coming, that it was a tie-in to that holiday.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Because it was actually a reveal at the end. It was like, oh, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
So, arguably, it shouldn't be released in the month of Father's Day.
I don't want to spoil my thoughts too much.
But it was a fantastic.
But this will be in the conversation for issue of the year in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh dear. Exactly 2 weeks' time, in fact. Yeah, so Tom Taylor wrote this. Otto Schmidt on the art. Obviously, we liked him a lot in Green Arrow, so it was nice to see him do some Batman stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't reminiscent of his Green Arrow work.
Yeah,
like, there was stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But so I had a look.
His lines felt a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I don't know if you guys have read Nailbiter, the Williamson. But
no, I keep looking at it. It's on sale.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. But the artist on that is Mike Henderson, and his art and Otto Schmidt's art are very similar, but this felt more like Henderson art, and I thought it was him until I remembered, oh no, we made a big deal that it was Schmidt.
Yeah.
So,
that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Nick Derrington quite a bit, actually.
That too.
Before we even talk about what the actual story of the book is, which obviously we're going to do, we were joking about Taylor taking the Batman book after King's done, or taking Nightwing or whatever. Part of me genuinely hopes that this was a test issue. That's why there's a random annual by Tom Taylor, is because they're actually testing what he does with Batman.
Yeah.
I really hope it is, because this was. I would have guessed it'd have been great anyway, because I've liked everything I've read by Tom Taylor.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him do anything bad.
Yeah, it checked a lot of boxes for me, because it had a sassy Alfred.
It does have a sassy Alfred, but
that's always a plus.
But that's the thing. It's all from Alfred's point of view. It's the story of what Alfred goes through and how he got that call one night that was about his parents, and how that sort of locked him into being there for Bruce for the rest of his days. And ultimately, the conceit of this story, that it's the smart little twist, is that he's constantly getting at Bruce for not taking care of himself, that he has to be there to take care of him, that he's not eating, that he's not sleeping. And the beautiful twist of this is that eventually Leslie Tompkins says, "Hey Alfred, he gets that from you. When was the last time you slept? Because you're always doing things for Bruce, because you're always making sure your things are ready for him.
Who takes care of you?"
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Yeah, I sleep when I can."
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you sound exactly like Bruce right now. You sound exactly the same. And this was an emotional issue. By the time we got to the end, I was kind of like, get a little watery in the eyes. I was like, this is kind of beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, when Bruce gets stabbed and he's like, I need a pickup, and Alfred's like, "Can you get to the Batman?" He's like, "Nope." He's like, "Right, I'm grabbing a cowl, I'm coming."
Yeah, it's heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time when he gets there and he's he goes into Soldier Alfred mode and takes out a couple of punks to save Bruce. It's like, damn,
to get him there. I love how multifaceted Alfred is, because he was an actor, he was a soldier, he was a medic. He can do it all. And it's really great.
Yeah,
and he can cook.
It's an annual, so there's a longer issue than traditional comics, but it flies in so quick that I never even felt the extra length.
Yeah, the pace is really good, In fact, I thought like I could have had some more,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some more moments. So, but yeah, this is the first thing I read this week, and I'm glad I did because it started off the week really
On a
well.
high note, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like one of these things. I think Taylor's really good at limiting his dialogue to a reasonable amount, and sometimes just shutting the hell up when he knows it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And the book flows so well because of that. And one of my complaints about a couple of books this week are going to be that they were good, but the dialogue was just too much. Like, it was just too overstuffed. More on that later. Matt's making some guesses. I can see it in his eyes.
Oh, we're all making guesses. I think we know. Maybe
No, knowing recording with you for as long as I have, I kind of already know.
Yeah.
So
No, like, it flowed really well. You know, him forcing me to take out a flask with soup in it because he's not eating anything here.
uh-huh.
So I know holding a flask when you crouch on a gargoyle ruins the image, but
Yeah.
tough. I won't tell the villains.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because
Just do it.
you're sick and you need sustenance. Like I'm not just doing it because it's you. I'm doing it because you're sick and it's gonna be bad if you don't eat. Like I like that caring of him. You know.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. Like the ending, realizing it's Father's Day, and Bruce like taking the day off, and you know, even Alfred Sassy says, like, you know, I got Duke and Cassandra to like patrol the streets tonight. It's like that is unusually, you know, sensible,
Uncharacteristically sensible.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great line, and like and then you see it's Father's Day, and it's like,
Do you know what might be my only disappointment of the issue?
yes,
That we don't see him crouched on a gargoyle with the flask.
oh yeah, we see him taking a drink.
Yeah,
out
We
of
see
it
him
on
drinking
on
it while he's flying,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Because I love that he
Alright.
says that on this day of all days, like, I'll give you a day off. Let's just hang around the mansion, and then you see what day it is, and it's kind of like whenever Bruce like admits that Alfred's kind of his father, it always hits me. It's you know, when Bruce died in R.I.P., and I always remember Alfred saying to Superman, I think it was in one of the Batman issues afterwards, that he's lost his son, and that always hit me, and I think this hits me in the same way, but in a more heartwarming way, because it's like no. He's admitting that that's what you are. You raised me, like,
Yeah.
because I love actually when Leslie's giving him shit for it. He's like, hey, how hard do you make him work? And he's like, oh, he's fine. Like, I don't need to do anything. Alfred's fine. And he's like, and she like explains to him, no, he's basically killing himself looking after you because that's what you do with Gotham. You have to give him a break, and you know, and he reasonably suspects the only way he can give him a break is if he also takes a break.
yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, I like that Bruce is kind of in. He's like, I let him work because he likes to work. I'm not gonna take away what he likes to do. Like, because again, that's Bruce. Bruce likes to be Batman and to be busy.
It's not like he says,
You know?
Alfred can look after himself better than I can. The implication being is like, well, Alfred knows what he's doing. He's got himself covered. He just assumes that he's okay.
Yeah. So it's a lesson for Bruce to learn. It's a heartwarming story between everything with Alfred saying that he loves hearing from the call because it lets him know he's okay for one more night, because one day he's expecting that call. You know, the call that says that he's not okay.
Right.
It's a beautiful issue. It was heartwarming, and the art is gorgeous. It's so well paced. Everything about it, I have no complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Tom Taylor's bibliography for DC. He's worked on a lot of Batman. Like,
He's done a lot of Injustice. How much Batman?
Yeah, he did all the Injustice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done all the Injustice, but I'm looking at his other stuff, and it's like he had a story in the Batman Secret Files.
Yeah.
He did Batman Superman issues 28 through 30 back in
Those
2016.
were really good. Those are the best
He's
bits of that
done.
book.
I had no idea
Yeah.
he did that. I think that's because, you know, that book I dropped fairly early on because it was only so.
I went back and picked up those issues. They were great.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
He's done. He did a story back in 2012 that I have to go find now. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight: The Crime Never Committed, with art by Nicola Scott.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the digital first book. So it was like it's just like a $1 for like 10-page story.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to go pick that up. So,
but
he's got a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. It's not a lot. It's a lot of examples, but they're all really short things or one and dones or.
Yeah,
this is the longest single like. Issue.
I just mean he has a feel for these characters, and that's why I think this came out so well, because it is an Alfred-centric issue. Like, Batman's there, but he's almost secondary to the Batman annual.
Yeah, until the end.
So, right.
I mean,
so,
what
we
I
didn't
mean
even
by
talk
that,
about the story about what Batman's doing.
Oh yeah, but I was
You
going to say
know?
what I was meaning about like saying that it's not a lot is that I want a lot of this. I want a run.
You
Oh,
you
yeah,
want
yeah,
100
King.
issues.
Yeah, I want
Right.
100 issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly. But yeah, the story is someone has made off with some military drones, and
It's a drone
Batman has,
pilot
yeah,
who's upset
you
that
find out
that the government made him kill like a village full of people, so now he's a drone villain called the Drone.
Yeah, this
Right.
is the sort of, like, it's maybe the weakest element of the issue in that it's good, but I think this could be something to explore over a 6-issue
Oh, yeah.
arc. It's
Do you
in
know the
here.
fact
It's
is-
just like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's in the background. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
the
yeah,
drone-
but it's not the focus. So
yeah, the drone's
to me, it's
okay.
fine.
He's just there to be the villain while everything the
Yeah.
important stuff's going on. That's
Yeah,
all he
yeah.
is. He's a stand-in.
It is, yeah, and it's almost too interesting a concept to waste on on this story.
Hey, when he gets his 100-issue run, he can develop it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
can come
Okay.
back. The drone will return because the drone doesn't get defeated.
No, that's true.
Wait,
He's out there.
Yeah.
Watching
oh
on his
man,
drone.
he did a Rocketeer story too. I'm gonna have to find that.
Matt's going down a Taylor hole.
Yeah. Go read all new Wolverine, Matt. Still collected.
really good.
It's on the list. I've added some comics to the Christmas list. So yeah. Apparently I'm difficult to buy for, which I disagree with, but being that we had to downsize, I can see it because stuff that
Yeah,
normally
people say that about me. I'm like, no, I'm not. Just
Yeah.
give me comics. It's whatever.
well, and now I feel like that's gonna be the thing.
I
is
feel like
I have a whole bookshelf full or empty now. So
I feel like nerds like us are difficult to buy for in the sense that no one ever knows we've already got X thing.
I literally have a wish list on Amazon full of things that here is like 100 things
Oh
I
sure,
don't
yeah.
have.
The wish list
Pick
helps.
something.
Absolutely.
And they
Although-
go, oh, we can't find anything. It's like, really?
I always get into this trouble though, where something will go on sale right before Christmas and it's on my wish list, and I have to take the risk of buying it when someone might have bought me it.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why there's a ban on buying personal stuff in the month of December.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So unless it's something like a T-shirt that I came across, anything that's for me, whether it's a movie, books, anything like that, don't
I'm
because
the
someone
same.
might be picking it up for you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all new Wolverine's on there as is Captain Marvel because I need to know about this character before the movie. So
Yeah. Well, they had a really small sale in Comixology like last week or 2 weeks ago, but it was like the second part of like Kelly Sue's run. I'm like, no, I want the first few trades, not the.
No,
Yeah,
there was
that's-
that. There's that mini that's, I think it's got one issue left called the Life of Captain Marvel, which is
Yeah.
kind of like an origin sort of
Yeah,
thing.
but
that
I
they
don't
do.
know if that's been that well regarded because I heard there was some
No, it is
retcons in
not.
it that people weren't happy about.
some
Fair enough.
major retcons that also were not handled particularly well from people I know that enjoy
Yeah.
the character. They're like, it's fine to give her this part of her past, but it's just very uneven.
Yeah,
So
I've heard really
Yeah.
the only Captain Marvel that's really worth getting into is the Kelly Sue run, which was a lot of made her big in the first place.
Yeah.
yeah. So well, and then I found out that Kelly Sue served as a consultant on the movie. So yeah,
That's good.
Interesting.
Well, we got
couple months.
couple months. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say there. I had a thought and then it
But no, that's why I told my wife, I
waffled
go,
away.
hey, if you want, like we're watching the trailer. I don't know much about this character, so hey, Christmas is coming.
That's what Comixology sales are there for.
They are. There's a giant Batman one on right now. Oh, the Bat Family, everything's $5. I may have splurged a little bit.
Yeah, I bought like 8 things.
Yeah. And the only thing that stopped me from spending twice as much is that I know there'll be another sale for Christmas like next week, so I've held back a little bit,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, anything else in the Batman annual that what you had? No, it's really good. Yes, in the interest of getting through the all 10 books, Matt, what are you rating the Batman annual?
This was a 9. It's really good.
Connor.
Gets a 10 from me.
Oh,
It's getting the stamps. It's
dear.
rare, but this deserves it.
Oh, I'm tempted, but I'm going to split the difference. Call it 9.5. It's really freaking good.
Yep.
So, Batman's had some good annuals in the last few years because the last one was the old Selena and Bruce one, and
Yeah.
and I actually dig that first Mr. Freeze one from New 52, which I guess is like 4 or 5 years ago now, but still, it feels recent in the grand scheme of things.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved how
so-
it upset people. And I was like, guys, it's Mr. Freeze. Let's calm down. Like,
Yeah, I was okay with that dark twist on it. I was like, yeah, that makes it more evil.
well,
Yeah, and it had
there's a reason why he's in Arkham and not Blackgate.
And I'm not
right?
saying I want it to stay that way forever. I'm okay with the
No.
sympathetic Mr. Freeze too, but yeah, I wasn't against it.
That was Jock on art for that issue, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
No nice art.
All the stuff in the snow looked great.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we'll move on then to Superman issue 6. Bryan, Michael Bendis, and Ivan Reis on the art, and Connor's taking his headphones off and leaving because he's not even going to listen to the important things that are happening. So
This issue.
This issue that is by and large 2-page splashes for the vast majority. Until Superman gets back to Earth in the last, few pages.
Which I like because it sets up the Phantom Zone as this mysterious place, and the format where it's not word bubbles; they're almost paragraphs.
Yeah.
Of stuff that's going on.
Or more specifically, it's not narration, but because it's narration rather than dialogue. It's but it's just written into the art. Yeah. So it's got like a storybook type feel to it.
And I like that, especially with how they're dealing with Zar and Zod, in that these are both enemies of Superman, but who's more villainous here?
Yeah.
And
because a lot of it is
Superman
a lot of it is the inner monologue from Superman where he's trying to decide like, should I just let these two like kind of destroy each other? Like, is that the right thing to do here? No, I can't. And I actually love when he's like, oh, I'm going to say something that only Bruce, Kara, and someone else have heard him say. I think Diana was the other one.
Diana.
Yeah, and he just yells out for Kandor, as he punches Zar, and then he admits to himself in his inner monologue, that was really for Zod, because Zod doesn't know he did that, and he wants Zod to be angry, and he realizes that that's why he said it, that he wants Zod to be aware of exactly what he's done.
Right.
And almost to a selfish degree, where he kind of admits that, maybe like my intentions there weren't like the most noble thing ever, but I felt like he needed to know that.
Yeah, but like Clark's thrown everything at Zar. So what else are you going to do? Like, you've tried not fighting him. You've tried fighting him. Like, you're not going to slug it out with him. Whereas Zod is military. He knows tactics and whatnot, and he needs to be a little bit more fired up. So I get why Clark is like disappointed in himself.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. But at the same time, like, what else was he going to do? He's out of options.
But I like that struggle. I like that this is not an easy choice for him. I think that's what makes it work, is that it's not so much that he's done it or he's not done it. It's that the struggle within and the guilt and the questioning, did I do the right thing, is what makes it work.
And then the guilt towards the end of the issue when he gets pulled out of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, Adam Strange and the Atom and the Star Labs techies that caused all this problem in the first place pull him out.
And Bendis with the humor going, well, he just admitted to a crime. He's going away.
Yes.
Like, I liked all that.
That's cool. And it's right at a pivotal moment where Superman and Zod are kind of teaming up to fight Rogel. And then Superman gets pulled out. And we see like Zod left in the Phantom Zone is defeated by Zar. Not killed, but is like being dragged. And the Phantom Zone Denzians are all like chanting Zar's name, and Zar's like, no, not me, us. We were, he's basically uniting an army under him in the Phantom Zone.
It's so scary because I can see the real parallels here, right? Is that they're all these terrible people are getting behind a strong man leader, right? So, but I like too that like the guilt of Superman, because he is this child of two worlds, right? Because he's from Krypton, but he was raised on Earth, so he's much an Earth person. I don't know if we say Earthling still, as he is Kryptonian, right?
Well, why not?
But so
Earthling,
when he's like, I got to get back into the Phantom Zone, I got to help Zod, and Adam Strange and the Atom are like, no, we need you here. Like, Earth messed up from this, and they need Superman. Yeah, and so he begrudgingly goes and handles all of these things.
Yeah, because Martian Manhunter calls him and tells him there's all these aftershocks because of the Phantom Zone thing. And what makes this beautiful to me is that he knows that he should stay here and he knows he should help, because even he says to Adam or whoever, like, yeah, you're right. Of course you're right. I should stay here and like deal with all this stuff. But I love the idea that there's guilt here now because he's leaving Zod to deal with it on his own. There's guilt because he's not standing side by side with Zod to defeat this enemy of Krypton. And this is beautifully complex, and it's funny because obviously he's got the Red Cloud in action, he's got Rogol and Superman, and it's like, okay, clearly Bendis wants to do new villains that he's invented, but that what he's done with Zod here is a really great way of paying respects to one of Superman's greatest, like, rogues gallery, villains, and it's beautiful.
And we've only seen Luthor once when he interacted with Lois. We haven't even seen Superman and Luthor.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a big Luthor stuff coming.
Oh yeah.
No
which
doubt.
he's building to it, which I appreciate. But like you say, that just shows that in bringing in Zod, this is what he's saying about Superman's rogues, right? It's like, yeah, Zod's one of his greatest villains, but that's because they have the philosophical difference of what it means to be Kryptonian.
There's depth
right?
here to this. There's straight up depth here, and I think the beautiful little touch that I love as he's being beaten by Rogol is he sort of mutters to himself, "I had a dream." And it's the dream he had last issue of a united Krypton where the L family, the Zod family, unite and form this new Krypton on this other planet.
Right.
Where they can have this perfect, Kryptonian utopia.
It's almost like Zod's become an anti-hero at this point.
Almost, yeah.
Through Jurgen's like, yeah, he's enslaving people on Jakul, right? But like here he has noble intentions for Krypton, as far as Krypton's concerned. Like,
I mean,
it's weird.
He's sympathetic here because he's been beat by this guy who at least claims to have committed genocide on Krypton, and the one thing Zod does genuinely care about, that he's not lying about, is that he cares about a future for Krypton, and it feels like he's been beaten. Your mic's going, Matt, and it feels like he's being beat by the embodiment of the death of Krypton. So him muttering to himself that I had a dream, this perfect dream of a Krypton, as he's losing, is heartbreaking in a way. And the fact that he's doing that with Zod is impressive. And it adds depth to Zod. It adds depth to Rogol, or not, maybe not even depth. It adds villainous to Rogol.
Yeah.
It makes him more of this force that's even more evil. And I think it's kind of the same effect almost, not maybe to the same extent, but it's kind of similar to how we felt when he smashed Kandor. It was like, whoa, that was dark as shit. This feels like an extension of that.
He's a genocidal maniac. Like that's it. So, but also, like, I like that too because Zod was on Krypton. And the only reason he wasn't with it when it went is because he's in the Phantom Zone. So it means so much more to him than it does. Because with Superman, it's always the idea that Krypton was an idea. But for Supergirl and for Zod, Krypton was a place.
I was going to say, same as Supergirl, yeah. She remembers it. It was something. There's memories to her.
Right. So it means that much more. That's why, we'll get it to in Supergirl, and it's almost similar to what Zod's doing. So
so that's, and also, I mean, if that's not enough, obviously we'll talk about the final moment in a minute, but I want to say the art is probably the best it's been in this series thus far. Right. These 2-page spreads from Reis were beautiful. The 2-page spread where Zod is just blasting Rogol with his heat vision with everything he's got is glorious.
They almost have a painting quality to them.
They do. Just
with the way that they're colored and the inks and whatnot. Like, it's like you can identify it. It is Ivan Reis, but it's also like.
It's different.
Special.
It's different to his normal work though. There's this extra quality. It's almost like because he knew he was doing this. I don't want to say a gimmick issue, but he was doing this concept of an
format.
Issue. Yeah.
The format of the issue.
He spent, because I think obviously, typically he'll have so many panels and so many pages, and that's so much work. I wonder if there is an element of, because it is just a lot of big single images, he can spend a lot more time in each single image, and because of that, they come out looking like this, where they're just gorgeous every single page.
Because I'm looking at it now, and there's that page with Rogol, and it's just him. It's his profile, and he just looks so grotesque.
Yeah.
But then it's the close up on his eyes, where you have like Zod in the blue eye, and he's just full of fury, and then Clark's in the red eye, and he looks so insecure.
Yeah, that's towards the end, and then the page I mentioned with Zod blasting with the heat vision, I'm looking at it right now. There's like fire coming out of Rogol's back, like it's like just like fire and fury just coming out of him.
Force.
Yeah. It feels visceral, but at the same time kind of majestic and like godlike, because this is like no human being can stand around when this is happening. We'd all just be dead. No. This is godlike figures like battling with every ounce of like energy they've got, and it feels apocalyptic.
It's really a Clash of Titans.
Yeah.
Like this is, Yeah,
it's great. So there you go. And I love that after Superman yells for candor, that page afterwards. There's the one with the eyes you were talking about.
Yeah.
The top part of it is like because Superman's saying, "Oh, Zar thinks this is funny because it's getting to me." He thinks that he's winning here because I've said that, but because he said it really for Zod because to let him know that something happened. But I love that Zar does look like that. He looks like he's relishing in this, that he's like hurting these Kryptonians. It's glorious. So obviously, the final of the book is after he's saved some people and he's feeling guilty, and he's trying to like figure things out. He wants to get back to Phantom Zone to help Zod. He just stops. This is how great this moment is that Superman stops midair, and the narration box he stopped. There's just a panel where he just stops midair, and you realize it's because he senses something.
Yep.
And he turns around, and the narration box is coming back. And the final page, of course, is John, who's back on Earth. And because Clark was just thinking about how Jor-El must have some answers, because Zar implied that Jor-El knew about some of what was going on.
Yeah.
And of course, in Supergirl, we find out that Zor-El might have also known about certain things. So John shows up, who of course was with Jor-El for the last bit of time. He has been aged up. He's got a new outfit. Obviously we're concerned about what they might do with John. We'll see next time, but this is just the reveal that he's back.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it because he still looks like John. Like this is just a more mature.
Yeah, he's like 15, 16 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which if this sticks, right, and it's not just like Yellow Sun energy and whatnot that's done this, him gloating over Damian.
Unless everyone hates it, I feel like it probably will, and he'll just be like this age now for a long time.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
otherwise they'll retcon it as quickly as they can once everything's done.
But like him gloating over Damian that he's older now because he went out to space and whatnot, like
wormholes
I can
and
see
shit,
that.
timey-wimey wormholes.
Yeah, so but yeah, I mean it's still though his suit looks like John, and he's not showing up and attacking the city as some covers would have you believe. So everyone just needs to calm down. Yeah. But I'm excited to see this.
Nah, Bendis put some tweets where he was joking about how everyone just always assumes he's going to ruin everything, and everyone's assuming that John's going to be a murderous Superboy Prime-esque figure, and he's just kind of like relishing in it. I saw a great post where he was talking. We've even been on this show. We were talking about this. How him and Johns were comparing like how they get treated on message boards. Was that you told me that, Matt? I think it might have been.
We were talking about it. It was a week or two ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just thinking about that as I'm reading this, and I'm like, yeah. So
again, until Bendis has proved me wrong, where oh no, he did ruin something. Everything he's doing at Superman, I have an open mind with, so which is very hard for me.
He's not
to make snap judgments.
I think for both of us, we're in this position where so far in Superman in action, he's not faltered. Like he's not done anything that we've flat out been like, this bothers us what he's doing here. I think the closest we've came is the issue with Lois where she was saying baby too much. The dialogue fell a bit off. So, but yeah, so let's rate this so Cora can jump back in for a book in a second. What are you giving it, Matt?
I was at 9.5. It had it all for me.
I'll give it a 9. Straight 9 for me, but we're having a good week so far. I've given it an 8, a 9.5 and a 9. I'm living the high life. But that will take us on to the next book. So Wonder Woman issue 60. G. Willow Wilson. I said that weird. G. Willow Wilson.
There you go.
Writing and Cary Nord on art. And I'm just can I just point out that you've been. I want credit for not dropping a Buffy reference every time I say her name, because I could. I really could.
You don't deserve credit for that.
I should.
Just because her middle name is the same name as a character on the show.
Willow's a unique name. It's not like I'm saying.
It's not that unique.
It's not like dropping.
It's the name of a tree, Pete.
It's not like I'm saying, oh, I'll do a Parks and Rec reference because someone's named Ben. Like like I've got levels. I've got a scale. Anyway.
Question: when you talk about Parks and Rec, do you say Ron's full name or is it just Ron?
Oh, Ron Swanson every time.
Yeah, okay. My wife too, because I just call him Ron. It's Ron, but she always says Ron Swanson as if she's Chris Traeger. You know?
No, it's because whenever anyone talks about him in the show, obviously they say Ron a lot as well, but I feel like because of the type of character he is, where he always has to be very, very matter of fact, it feels right to say Ron Swanson.
Right.
Yeah.
So I came home from wrestling last night and she was watching reruns of again on Netflix of Parks and Rec. Yep. So yeah.
Anyway, so Wonder Woman 60. Also, and still no hints of the idea that Ares looks like Steve.
I have a theory on this.
Oh, for God's sake.
There's no need for a theory. There's nothing to theorize about.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When we get to the end of the issue,
my theory is that you were just wrong.
No.
Okay, I think I know what your theory actually is, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, because you know Greek mythology, right?
I do, yeah.
All right, I don't, so you can educate me when we get to the end of the
Yeah, so
the second
we'll
half.
get there.
But the first half of the book is Wonder Woman and Ares fighting it out with some really good art and some really good action, where they basically start fighting because she's trying to stop him, and he's not understanding that he's actually making things worse, and he has to kind of slow down and think about what he's doing. And it has this really sort of emotional ending because eventually they stop, they've kind of calmed down a little bit, and Wonder Woman tries, work with me, do things a different way, but you can't do it this way where you just pick a side and fight to the death. Like, that's not how you're going to solve this.
You want to be the new Ares, but you're acting like the old Ares.
Yes.
Like, something's got to change, buddy.
Yes. Ares is dead. Long live Ares.
Right.
So, but they hear crying, and there's a baby, like the village that he threw the missile down to. There's a baby in the debris, and it seems like no one else got hurt by the looks of it. Or did they say that? I can't remember if it's specified.
I don't know, but just the image of Ares holding a baby, I was just like,
yeah, and
that is so weird, and I love it.
And realizing he's like, wait, I did this? Oh no. Maybe I shouldn't be throwing missiles down into towns. Oh no.
This is maybe my biggest problem with the book, is that
God.
Ares flip-flops a bit, like twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way that
Sure.
both times felt really quick for him changing his mind.
I'm just used to your complaints being bullshit, and I always anticipate them.
But see, I like that if he's going to be a supporting character, which I feel like he's going to be.
It feels like he is, yeah.
Then him having to learn about this because it's a god coming to Earth.
No, I get it. It just felt a little bit quick for
It's
me.
actually kind of Thor-like in a way. Or at least I'm thinking of like Thor. The movie specifically, in the sense that he has to kind of learn humanity. And I'm sure that was in the comic as well, but I've not read enough classic Thor to actually say that it's like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I've read enough to say that yes, it is. And let's not overlook Wonder Woman lassoing the lightning.
Oh yeah, that was easily the most beautiful page of the book.
Yeah.
She throws the lasso into there. It's this 2-page layout, and she just strikes it down with lightning. It's beautiful.
Yep.
It is incredible. It is almost matched by her lassoing the sword and spinning it around and slicing the guns. I thought
that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, because the militia show up and are like not having it, and she's like, I'm not having it either, and she's lasso. That's reminded me a little bit of the movie in the sense of her like coming in and just like destroying the guns to stop the conflict, and just like we're not doing this today, stop it.
But I love that just the concept of her just throwing the sword up, lassoing it, and just swinging it around at them to get that.
No, it's really inventive in the action, and I think that's like obviously it's the great arts like executing it, but even the fact that Wilson said no, this is what we're doing for an action scene. This is what she's doing conceptually.
Yeah,
it's really exciting because it means I'm looking forward to what else we'll get action wise out of this run. Yeah, and Wilson actually is leaving Miss Marvel. She just announced that this week.
Got to work on this full time.
Yeah. But honestly, I was expecting it because she's at like 70 issues or something like that. Miss Marvel. That was a long run.
Pretty respectable. Then.
Yeah. So that's cool.
She might have already finished writing it, to be honest.
Probably. Yeah. She might have finished it months ago.
Got ahead, finished writing that, and then moved on to Wonder Woman, and just now they're only announcing it now.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, I'm saying she had to focus on this. Maybe she's very capable of writing another book. At the same time,
that just tells me that they must really like her plan, right? To have her come over full time. So
yeah, I wonder if it's like after like seeing like the scripts for her first like 6 issues or whatever, because obviously we're 3 in, but obviously they've seen ahead to whatever.
Right.
I wonder
because they don't offer her a contract for all of that straight away. They're like, right here, do an arc, and then we'll see how it goes.
I wonder if a more permanent like. Not an exclusive contract, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we hear about something. But because you know, especially the first year of Rebirth, I feel like we were hearing about exclusive contracts like every 2 minutes. It was like they've been signed.
Those are all still in force, which is why we haven't heard about them again.
Yeah. So it wouldn't shock me.
This would be a pretty big grab for them in terms of exclusivity. As someone who has been, associated with Marvel for years.
Well, I think that's not even what's exciting. Even though Taylor's been doing Injustice for like years, and he's constantly been at DC. I still associate him more with Marvel because of just of the mainline books he's been doing.
Exactly
what you've read.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Well, and still, I feel like this keeps the companies fresh. If you're gonna do exclusives, then I feel like in sports where they can trade players, so I just feel like it freshens things up. If people that have worked at DC for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not saying John's will always be DC, but
don't take my favorite, but everyone else is fair game.
Yeah, anyone else fair game. Like I'd almost want to see what Tomasi would do with some of these characters over at Marvel. Same with Soul. That's why I jumped onto his Daredevil so quick. Was I enjoyed his work at DC and to see him on other characters.
Marvel can keep Soul. I'm fine.
He's stepping away from a lot of stuff now, though, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he's doing.
That's fine. I can know he's creator own stuff. That's fine.
Yeah, his creator owned, and I think that book that he wrote was, I guess, pretty successful. So I think he's gonna start focusing on some of that stuff.
He's probably getting movie and TV deals because that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Lemire's got some movie TV deals. Kelly Sue and Fraction got a deal this week with Legendary.
I think Lemire got another one this past week.
Does that mean we're gonna be getting a Sex Criminals movie?
Very possibly.
I think that was one of the first things they announced as they were looking at doing a TV show of Sex Criminals.
But yeah, no, it was Legendary Entertainment though they got a deal with this week. So, but anyway, so yeah, the action was great. I love that after she dealt with the militia, she notices Ares is still floating in the sky, so she goes up to meet him, and we have this conversation just floating in the sky, where she wants to know where Steve is, and he's like, yeah, sorry, that's not me.
I have nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I don't know where
yes.
I don't know where your boy toy is. He's somewhere. And that's when we come back to where Steve is with these mythical creatures. And the cliffhanger here is that Aphrodite is with them.
Aphrodite.
Yes, Aphrodite. Yes.
Yep. And she looks kind of similar to Diana.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, but I always like the take on Aphrodite that she looks as different to everybody because it's whatever your idea of love is.
Yeah.
Or, desire.
I like just the casual t-shirt.
Yeah, she's sitting there.
It's
and
different.
She reminded me of someone. Obviously, she makes us think of Diana because I agree with that. But she made me think of someone specifically other than that, like an actress, I think. Let me look. Come on.
She kind of looks like Kristen Ritter to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah,
I'm getting Kristen Ritter from her. Yeah.
But so here's my theory on this: is I don't feel like artists do stuff not on purpose. So I feel like if you know mythology, Ares,
you've never seen my art, Matt. I definitely do stuff not on purpose.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you're king-esque in that way.
Yes. Right? I think me and King could have a little competition, but I'm not fighting anyone else.
It'd be like that competition in Mr. Miracle that they talked about.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's the master now? But anyways, Ares and Aphrodite are a thing in mythology, even though Aphrodite's married to Hephaestus. And so part of the story is always Hephaestus is trying to catch them cheating, but they always
Hephaestus is an ugly son of a bitch.
Exactly. And so and the fact that at least me and some other people seem to think that Ares' new form looks like Steve, and here Aphrodite's looking like Diana, I'm feeling we're supposed to draw parallels between Steve and Diana and Ares and Aphrodite. Eventually, that's where the story's going to be going.
I was wondering, is Aphrodite kind of manipulating Diana to maybe see Steve a little bit?
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. Is that down the line in a couple issues, we'll see that this is part of the plan.
If that's the case, then fair play.
Yeah.
If it's just thematic, then that's also fair play.
Well, because I was getting a little upset, going like, okay, then why change him? And then I got to the end of this issue and was like, okay,
I think
she looks like Diana.
I think my only critique of this, if this all turns out to be the case, would be that it seems a lot more obvious in the art than it is to Diana, who should probably be mentioning it if it's as blatant as this. Where if it's more subtle and gradual, where she notices those qualities of Steve kind of bleeding through over time, then it maybe shouldn't have been as obvious to us immediately, or at least to Matt.
Right.
Yeah, at least to Matt. Yeah.
So yeah.
I just you don't take a guy that we had just seen and was dark haired and dark eyed and turn him into a blonde haired, blue eyed dude. Like that's just I want reasons.
You haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse yet.
No, hey, don't mess with me. I need to know. I need Nick Miller Spider-Man right now. So.
That's not really a spoiler, but that reference will make sense when you see the movie.
I'm really intrigued as to what that was.
So, but yeah, so I'm starting to warm up to the art a little more here for the reasons you guys were saying. The action, right? But there's still not to Connor on the art. There's still some that faces don't look quite right to me. There's kind of a rough quality to some of it, but.
There was a chopper there coming for Matt.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it's coming back again. Is your phone on your desk, Matt?
Yeah, but it's not by the mic, so it's all the way over.
Well, the noises say otherwise.
See, I disagree. It's not phone interference noises.
Phone, okay.
They're just. It sounds more like dodgy cable noises.
All right.
That could be too. Let me.
Yeah. It's gonna lose all sound now.
No. I just the cable's dragging.
So I'm gonna go to shit now. All right. Anything else we want to add on Wonder Woman, which I think is shaping up to a really good run.
One of my favorite touches in the art is when she's throwing up the sword to lasso it.
Yes.
It goes over the panel into the next panel, and it's one of the only times in the issue that it happens like that. There's only a handful of occasions in the book where it does that, where it overlaps. And it just really accentuates the height of it without actually showing it.
Yeah, no, the action's phenomenal. And this makes me really excited for what's coming throughout future stories. So, we'll rate the book then. Matt, what are you giving Wonder Woman 60?
This one was a 8.5. I like this one more than the other two so far.
There you go. Connor?
I'm going an 8. It's just knocked down a little bit because I think Ares changed his mind a little bit too quickly. Twice.
I would agree with Matt and go with 8.5. I thought this was really good. I'm on a good streak so far. Well, I'm curious to see which issue will finally break it this week. But really good. I think this one's shaping up to be something special. So we will move on to The Flash issue 60. Joshua Williamson writing, Rafa Sandoval on the art. We're in the middle of the Force Quest storyline, and we have. We went to Court Maltese, and we have what's the name of this strength force? Forza. Thank you.
Forza.
And we fight her a little bit, and I say we, I mean the Flash, and obviously things calm down eventually, and she introduces the Flash and Iris to their our secret mountain hideout where she's put some of the townsfolk in.
And then we take some inspiration from the TV show.
And we do take some inspiration from the TV show because Barry, the idiot, drops his cowl and is like, "Hey, I'm Barry Allen." This is such a... I laughed out loud because of the TV show.
I read this at 3 o'clock last night in bed, and I was like, "Don't laugh too loud. Just keep it down. Keep it down. Don't wake her up."
So I've been catching up on the Flash, trying to get to the Crisis, whatever
crossover.
No, Elseworlds.
Elseworlds, yeah,
that's what it was. I was calling it Crisis because of the monitor
so
appearance.
Good, Matt.
Right?
That's crossover.
I will get there.
That was so good. I was expecting a fun mess. It ended up being a genuinely good crossover.
I've heard it. If you had issues with Justice League, this is what Justice League should have been.
Oh, yes.
That's what I've heard. So, anyways, I'm catching up on Flash, and we're watching them, and even my wife's picked up on my affinity for Nora and whatnot. But she goes, "Wait, does every character know he's the Flash?" And this is just her cursory being there while I'm watching 2 or 3 episodes. I go, well, basically, like, there's only a couple people that don't, so that's on brand.
The red shirts don't, but all the main characters pretty much do at this point.
Exactly.
And the red shirts, half of them find out anyway.
Yeah.
He is taking down that mask in the show far too often, far too easily.
Exactly. So even she's picking up on that. And then here, when you bring it up here, I was like, yeah, that's very, very Flash TV show.
Yeah, that was very funny. But so he wants to learn about the Strength Force, and she kind of understands some of it, but she's not really got into the gravity stuff yet. She's like, no, I use the strength, and
which I like, because that's a lot like Barry not fully
Because at first it was
into the Speed Force.
Yeah, at first it was just the speed, and then eventually onto phase, and like it's stuff added on as it went. It wasn't just.
And I like that, and I like her origin where it just kind of hit her like it kind of hit him. Although she had all of the aspects that you would want in a hero.
Yeah, she was already an activist. She was already trying to fix her country or
kind of like Barry. Barry was already a good guy because he was a CSI. Like trying to catch bad guys.
Which I laughed actually when he mentioned he's a CSI, and she's like, "Oh, like a TV show," and I was just like, "Oh, don't get him started."
Yeah. And I love. He's like, "I wish I could just montage, different things."
And I was actually laughing because I thought technically you can, compared to everyone else, you can montage your way through a
yeah, but then like he says, he can't
maintain...
speed up the results.
Yeah, true,
right.
true. We also found out that there's a corrupt policeman, and that's like kind of the plot that's going on in the city right now.
So I know it's Cordial Maltese, so there's always there's a Latin flavor to the names, right?
Yeah.
I could not read his name as Cauldron, right?
Yeah, I was reading it as Cauldron in my simple English speaking way.
But I feel it should be like Cauldron or something like that.
I'm trying to find it again so I can see. Is it just spelled like Cauldron? Because I just read it as Cauldron.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of funny as I'm reading it. And the Gemini, these guys.
Yeah, they've got a leg up in the Flash. They're heading to the next destination. They're ahead of them.
Yeah, I don't get them yet. Like, I get that they want the Speed Force and they're thieves and whatnot, but like them tying up the whole trade and stuff. I'm like, these guys are like villains out of a '30s movie.
Yeah, I really don't like them.
I don't really have like a dislike for them. I don't necessarily like them either. They're just kind of they're there. They're serving the purpose.
I liked that they were only in one page.
Yeah,
this issue.
Yeah, this is just reminding us of what they're doing, so that we're not going to be like, oh, this is bullshit when they show up again.
Like,
yeah, it's more of a, oh, hey, they're coming back. I'm like,
Yeah, out of all the villains that Williamson has created for during his Flash run, I definitely like them the least.
That's fair. I don't hate them though. They're just kind of
they're just kind of there, but the way that they talk and kind of their whole affectation, they're almost like, is it the Thin Man? With the husband and wife team and the dog.
The Thin Man?
Yeah, they were a series of movies in the 30s and 40s. Nick and Nora, I think their names were. They had a dog.
I can't see that. This is not ringing bells.
Yeah, okay. Completely unfamiliar to me, but you could be right.
So the third man was Harry Lime, right? That's that movie. So then I think it's the Thin Man. But they kind of remind me of evil versions of them.
Alright, okay. I'll tell you what scene I liked. I liked when we cut back to Central City and we get some Commander Cole doing some policing with Detective Burns.
Yeah.
With some added flirting. Because she says, you want to get some ice cream after this? He's like, was that a joke? And I was like, no, I'm just flirting. Like, I just want to go get some ice cream.
Yeah. Well, I like that. And I like that Burns has become a supporting character after the Sage Force.
Yeah, I'm digging this. I'm digging the rogues as well. Looking at Commander Cole, like, this asshole impersonator. We're not having them.
And it's not just it's Trickster's squad. And it looks like there's a lady dressed up as Trickster, too, right?
It's the Tricksters, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like the idea of a Trickster family because we always get like the evil Flash family, right? We had
because the old Trickster came back. He showed up a couple of arcs ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume this was to do with them.
Yeah, because he picked up Axel after the whole Strength Force fiasco.
Yeah.
That's So, but I like the idea of there being a Trickster family.
I dug that. I dug that with the Strength Force, we're setting up some rules where the heavier the thing she picks up, the more vulnerable the rest of it. Because she's basically bulletproof, at default. Right. But when she starts picking up heavy stuff, it like takes all the energy and does that, and because of that, it makes her more vulnerable. And like. And it's like she was lifting up a tank and she was saying that she could still take a punch, but it would hurt. So that gives you some sort of like, because let's say she picks up a building, does that mean that she's not bulletproof while she's doing that?
Right.
It adds this rule to it, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. It has a vulnerability.
I like that it kicks up her metabolism as well. To she's constantly eating like the Flash does.
Yeah, needs the energy. Yeah.
And I also feel like these forces, they were meant to defend the multiverse, but I feel like each of them's like counterpart to the other. So like the Speed Force has the Still Force, and then the Strength Force has the Sage
I
Force.
was thinking about it. I was thinking about how like the Lanterns have all the light spectrum, right? And then you have the life spectrum, which is the red, the green, the death, right? I was kind of looking at this as more of the physics based like sort of like entities where you've got the strength, still, speed, and then Sage, which is kind of different, but you know, like that's kind of the pocket they kind of occupy. Is these more physics things? So basically, we end the issue with the corrupt cop coming in with some. He gets a lot of black market tech and like advanced tech and stuff, and he has a gun that has Sage Force bubbles. Because at first it's quite funny, you're like, why is he shooting bubbles? And they're laughing about it.
Yeah.
And then Barry kind of realizes.
Yeah, because she found out that he's importing like super weapons.
Yeah.
Into Corte Maltese, and so this is them, and he got to one of the citizens, and they kind of gave up her secret base. So, but yeah, and it's Sage Force, and it traps them, you know, at the end. So no, I'm really enjoying the Flash right now.
Which because the bubbles all turn into little gremlin-looking things.
Right.
That's
little
what
demon
happens.
dudes.
Kind of like little mini night crawlers, you know,
with stupidly long tongues.
Yes. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I enjoyed this issue. I'm liking how it's building on everything we've done.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think Sandoval's art's not as great as some of the arts we've had on Flash. It's a bit more just kind of serviceable in places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said the last few issues. I like Sandoval. You know, I really enjoyed him when we had him on Hallam Pals for a while. Do not like his splash at all. And
I think he's coming to his own right now. Like if he goes another couple issues, I feel like it'll start popping like it used to. But I like the design of Forza. I like that it's similar to Flash but not the same. You know.
Do you know what I like about her outfit? I like the Mortal Kombat style sort of mask. It's not a whole head. It's just the face guard.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's rate the issue. Flash 60. What are you giving it, Matt?
It's an 8.
Connor.
7.
I'm going to split the difference. Call it 7.5. Which is not enjoyable. That's not breaking my streak. I still quite like this a lot. I just it's not a standout necessarily on its own.
What's gonna do it?
I'm digging the run a lot.
Mine is.
Is it coming up next?
Well, next up, Supergirl, issue 25.
Oh no, I'm gonna tip my hand and say no.
Yeah, which is written. Well, it's the main story is Marc Andreyko and Emanuela Lupacchino on art. I'll tell you what the backup stories were when we get to them. I'll just see them on the page.
Well, there's also a secondary artist on like the last 3 pages, 3 or 4 pages.
Lupacchino now. Like, why does this book get artist after artist?
Look, this book is fantastic. I'm going to say this issue is fantastic. This is not breaking the damn streak. This is up in the streak.
No.
The main story, Supergirl, of course, not landed, but got to the remains of
What's
Krypton.
Left, the remnants,
of Krypton, and started freaking out and I like how they explain here that she didn't think this was going to be a problem because she thought A, the radiation wouldn't be as high, and B, the ship should have protected her from it. So it's a surprise it's this much, which I like because my only complaint about the end of the last issue is I thought she should have kind of predicted this that this would hurt.
Yeah, well, and also the shields have taken some damage from her journeys and whatnot. So that makes sense.
Art's
this
fantastic.
issue made me really like the Kaluan guy, who I can't remember his name.
Let's find his name because I can't remember it either. It's like Zadal or something like that.
Yeah, let me find it.
Anyway, so like Cary gets a spacesuit on, and then the Kaluan guy is like, oh, I'll get Crypto suited up because Crypto looks like he's in pain as well. And I never even thought of that last issue. Sorry,
it's Zinder.
Zinder with a Z.
Yep.
Or a Z for you, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what Z means.
So even Crypto's in a little spacesuit to help him with the thing. Honestly, my only complaint with the art at all, because obviously Lupacchino is fantastic and it's gorgeous, is after Supergirl gets her spacesuit on, there's like a 2-page layout, and I thought the way she's drawn the reflection on the visor, the astronaut suit, instead of looking like a reflection, it looks like there's like a hole in it. It looks like there's like it's broken glass to me. Like, you know how you see her face coming through it?
Yeah, now that I can see it.
To me, it looks like there's just a hole, and I thought, wait, is there a hole in it? So it's useless then. But it's not. It's just the way she's drawn the reflection on it.
Right.
Yeah,
I can get what you're saying now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but so Supergirl's here. She's looking for clues, and she ends up encountering a being called Splice, who attacks her.
Which I was like, oh, come on, Andreyko. And then, but then the name ends up making sense when we get to the end of the issue.
Yeah.
But you find out that it's the guardian of Krypton, or caretaker of Krypton.
Yeah.
And like it can shapeshift, and it seems like it has Tamaranian like solar powers, so it can hit her with star bolts and stuff.
Yeah, because Supergirl pieces this together because she's like, oh, that was like a Tamaran blast, and then that was like a
Durlin
shapeshift. Yeah, and so that's like another thing. It's like, oh, it must be some sort of like absorbing entity that can mimic all these things. And then she starts having flashbacks, like the effects of the kryptonite make her kind of hallucinate a couple of times during this fight.
Yep.
And she like thinks she's with her parents, but then her parents like turn evil and like attack her and stuff like
zombies,
that.
Yeah.
It's doing all this stuff, and she's trying to like keep her cool. But she remembers something important. She remembers this device that her father was making that would maybe save Krypton. This what did he call it?
It can restart the planet's core.
Yeah, that's what it
says.
But it's the same thing that Rogolzar was going to use on Earth to destroy Earth.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so she starts piecing together. Did this device that was meant to help get reversed and turned into something that actually brought on the destruction of Krypton quicker, and that maybe he had a hand in it inadvertently.
Yeah, she's
which
worried.
I liked.
She's worried that the device helped kill Krypton, and it's like, okay, I'm liking it. The parentage of both Kara and Kal are both kind of becoming kind of important in terms of what happened.
Yeah, the L boys kind of, didn't do too much. Didn't do too much good as we think they always have. And you know what? Both of them survived, and I'm just realizing this because Zor-El became the cyborg Superman.
That's right. Yeah.
Jor-El is, running around through space with his grandson. So,
I think that's just that's a criticism of comic books that they can't help but bring characters back to life.
I know. It didn't sink in until this moment. But I also like as Kara's fighting Splice. To Kara, Splice becomes Rogolzar.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool because it gets, it reminds us that she's on this mission for Zar to find out his origins and why he did what he did. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I dig that. And then they get zapped away. Basically, Kara and Splice get zapped by whoever's like doing this, and we end up at the Citadel, and Harry Hohum, who's the Tsar of the Citadel. So we're getting to some Omega Men stuff like that corner of the galaxy.
Yeah. Is that Hohum or Hokum?
Oh, maybe a K, you're right. I thought it was a H.
I think, yeah.
To be fair, the H and the K look really similar.
They do, so that's why I didn't know. But Terry Ho-Hum, I'm just saying, that's a bad name.
Then it could be Kokum, though. It could be both the Ks.
It could be Cary Kokum. We need to hit up Andreyko.
I don't know which one makes more sense. All right.
So wait, I thought the Citadel was the school that she went to in space in New 52.
What's that called, the Citadel?
I think so. But is this Omega Men stuff? I don't know. I'm not familiar.
That was the Crucible.
That was a Crucible. You're right. Yeah, Crucible. Yeah, cause I knew it was Omega Men because it says at the bottom next Supergirl and the Omega Men. So I assumed that that's what this. Because didn't we go to the Citadel with the Green Lantern stuff?
We did. Some of that stuff. That's why it seems familiar. Yeah, gotcha. The Crucible was New 52. That's right.
Yeah, so that was the end of the main story. And what's his name? Zinder. Zinder's left on his own in a ship with Crypto, being like, "Damn it, where did Kara go?" So he's going to try and help, presumably, next issue. But this was all good. So we got two backups. The two backups. The first one is a Zinder story. Zinder Call, his name is, and this is Andreyko again, with Brad Walker on art. And again, art's really good.
He's like, you want to make me like this even more? Just make him Space Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so I was thinking that as well. He's an archaeologist.
And he did. I enjoyed the hell out of this one.
Yeah. So the smart thing here is that we've got the regular writer of the run doing a story to sort of basically just fill out one of our new supporting characters. He's basically saying, here, you want to get to know him, let's take some time to get to know this supporting character. And I like that. Because there's some people who I'll see online who get really upset when a book about any character will take an issue that doesn't focus on the main character. They get really upset and say, "Oh, this is not about Kara. This is about this dude." And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Well, it's a backup story, so it's not that big a deal." And secondly, I have no problem with issues here or there. Same with TV. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need every episode to focus on the main character. I like when you get an episode that focuses on a supporting character. Like, let them have the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
As
It fills out that world.
as long as it
you
doesn't
know?
do it too often, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It can become a problem, but it's fine. This book in no way has not been focusing on Kara for the duration of it. So
No. And the fact that we just got him joining up in the last issue,
yeah,
right? And now it kind of, he had mentioned he was a doctor, but not that kind. And I totally spaced that,
Yeah.
you know, he was supposed to be a doctor till now. But then you find out, like, I don't know, he's basically Indiana Jones. He's an archaeologist, and
yeah.
he went to go find this rare flower on this planet.
He's on an alien planet. Everything's bright and colourful. He encounters this alien race. He ends up with this artifact he didn't intend. But the whole joke is here at the end of it, Rogol Zar's symbols on the artifact. So he's encountered something that is connected to Rogol Zar in the past, which I'm sure will come up at some point.
Yep. Well, and he finds out that Krypton had a lost colony on this planet. That because he's picking up like the thing that comes out of that artifact is a projection of basically the Kryptonians being slaughtered, and he thinks it's the locals because the locals attack him right after with this technology that they basically shouldn't have. Like, it's weird, but we know it's probably Zar.
Yeah, that's
right?
why his thing, whatever this is, has been left behind.
Right.
It's because he came and killed them. But it does also note that the locals here seem to have based some of their civilization on Krypton because of this outpost, because of the technology was left behind. So no, it was an interesting little just character thing to let us know a bit more about him. You know, the idea that his father kind of hates what he does and all that kind of stuff. Just a little bit of character for him, which was nice. And then the final story, which is a Dan Jurgens Supergirl written story, really good. This is a Christmas story as well. And Jurgens pointed out that he loves Supergirl, but he's actually not really gotten to write her that much. So I'm loving Andreyko's run, but if Jurgens wants to take it after he's done, you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Seems to be
I
a theme
like
this
that it was
week.
a throwback to her living in National City with the Danvers.
Yeah, she's got her suit from before with the red skirt.
Yeah.
And it's basically this story how she comes home after fighting this a Megazon. She was fighting a Megazon in was it Iceland or Finland or somewhere cold.
Norway.
There you go. That's somewhere cold. And she comes back and she's covered in gunk, and she goes into her room and finds out that the Danvers have gotten rid of a lot of her stuff that she's outgrown for charity and stuff like that. But she's really upset because the box with clothes in it had basically a teddy bear that she had in Krypton.
Yeah.
That she was really close to, and it was like the one thing she had from her parents still with her. And the Danvers are really, you know, heartbroken about it, and they kind of give her permission to go and like sneak into the orphanage and maybe try and get it back. Even though she's not supposed to use her powers for things like that, it's like, well, it's Christmas and we kind of screwed up. So just, you know, you can quietly go in and like maybe
go get your Pluot back.
Yeah.
And I feel like I see where this story is going.
All right.
Yeah, well, when she gets there, a bunch of orphans find her, and one of the little girls has already found it and has already kind of fallen in love with her toy, and you know, Supergirl looks really upset. The art's really good here because she gets really teary-eyed as she sees this girl's falling in love with it, and she basically calls it Ice was the hero she was fighting alongside in Finland. And she gets Ice to come by and make it snow because this little girl wants snow because she grew up in a place where it snowed a lot, but her parents died and now she's living here where there's never going to be snow in National City. So she calls in a favor and they get some snow and she lets the girl keep the toy, and that's this. It's a really heartwarming little Christmas story. It's nice.
Yeah, it was really moving. Once you realize that it went to an orphanage, you're like, oh, she ain't getting her toy back. Because there's gonna be a kid that already got it.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, it's not like unpredictable, but it's solid in what it's doing, and it's heartwarming. And Joe, it's funny. This started, and I realized it was a Christmas story, and I went Christmas stories, and then I went, oh yeah, it's middle of December. This is actually timed quite well.
It's like 10 days away.
For some reason, I thought this was like November still, and I was like, why are we doing a Christmas story?
Do you know? I'm kind of feeling that. It's weird because I mentioned my shop didn't get its Christmas playlist. Usually we start mid-October. And this year, it's just been broken, the download. So
wow.
I'm not sick of Christmas songs already. I haven't heard. I've like
Good.
barely heard them. It's very refreshing.
I'm gonna knock on wood right now, but I've made it this far with the Christmas music being on the radio station here, and I've not heard 12 Days of Christmas. So I don't know if that song got banned, and if it did, I'm happy.
You know what is weird? You know what I haven't heard yet, which is really weird. Fairy Tale New York. I feel like I hear that all the time usually.
I like that song.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Oh, you must have.
Yeah, maybe I don't know the title.
Yeah.
And I've heard it. But
I like that one. Anyway, we're talking about Christmas songs, we're talking about comics, and Supergirl 25 was another solid issue. We've been digging this run a lot, and I like how it's tied into the Rogol Zar stuff, but it feels like it's great art. The pacing's been great in every issue, and it's rare that I actually find that when there's a couple of backups that I like both. Usually there's one that's kind of like
why was this here? You know, it's just filler. But no, this one they both like the first one definitely informed the story more.
Yeah.
And the last one was just kind of like, okay, it's Christmas. Like, we'll have a Supergirl Christmas story.
The first one was a spotlight on a new character to let us get to know him a little bit, and then the second one was just a nice little Christmas Supergirl story that was good. So, no. What are you giving it, Matt?
Oh, sir, this was a 9. I really enjoyed this entire
issue. I concur. I'll also give this a 9. That was great.
Jeez. Don't hold back, guys.
That was great. Supergirl's been fantastic. You have been missing out.
I know. But it's going to cross over, and then I'm going to hate it.
So next up then, we'll move on to Justice League Dark, issue 6, James Tynion the 4th, with art by Daniel Sempere. And I'm saying Tynion now because on Twitter, he cracked a joke about how his friends call him Tynion, and then people from other countries call him Tynion. And I thought, well, damn it, now I feel like I'm being called out as being wrong.
You mean like that time where it was, we learned how to say it, and we should probably say it that way, and then you never did?
I think Tynion sounds better, and it's spelt that way.
But you know what? No, Pete has waffled back and forth a couple times between calling him Tynion and Tynion. I am from the same country he's from, so I'm going to do the opposite and call him Tynion. You know?
No, Joel, I feel the same about Margaret Scott. So I went on her Twitter. She's like, to me that was Mairead. When I said that's how I knew it, and she went until she heard that name on I think it was on Game of Thrones at one point. She's like she'd never heard her name said that way, and it's just like that's just wrong.
Actually, Joe, it's funny for me. It's Scarlett Johansson. To me, that should be
Johansson.
Yeah, it's Johansson. But to me, because I've heard that said as a Y from presumably Germany.
Well, no, it's
Scandinavian that way.
Yeah.
It's a Scandinavian name,
Yeah. So to me, but even she says Johansson. But in an interview, she says her name is Johansson, but I still say Johansson every time I say her name.
Yeah, the ones that get me, Gal Gadot is what it's supposed to be. It's not Godot.
I still say Godot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not changing, damn it.
I know there are some people that say Melissa Benoist as Benoit, the French way.
Nah, I say Benoist, and even she says Benoist.
No, she does as well. As I was saying, these are all the correct ways that they say them. It's probably how we should say.
To me, Benoit spelled completely different, and Pete gets what I'm saying.
Yeah, Benoit is both the spelling of that guy and also Benoist. Yeah. They both mean Benoit.
Right.
But
anyways,
Justice League Dark. Yeah. Justice League Dark.
Sempere's Wonder Woman is phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, the art's great throughout, but specifically his Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I like his Z. His Zatanna is pretty great too.
So we're in the mirror. And basically Chimp.
Hold on, we're not. You made it sound like we're in a mirror, but we're in mirror.
I told you this last time that the way I say mirror, it sounds like mirror, and that's why I didn't want to say it that way. But here we are. We're in mirror.
Egg sounds like egg is what I basically just heard. Pete. So.
Egg does sound like egg though, so shut up.
Yeah, there's definitely some things Pete can't say differently, like woman and women. Women and women.
There you go. I said it. Shut up.
You guys ever see the SNL bit where it's the two? I'm assuming they're Scandinavian, like European, and their names are both Nunny and Nunny, but no one can ever pronounce them right. And it's a guy and a girl. She goes, "No, he is Nunny and I am Nunny." And shoot. Anyways, look that up. I can't remember who's in the bit, but it's real funny.
Joe, we've hit that point in the middle of the show. We've been going long enough, but we're also long enough from the end that my hunger's starting to take over, and I'm like, I hate you two for continuing to talk so much.
To be fair, I'm.
So Justice League Dark. So, Detective Chimp messed up.
Yes, I was explaining the plot. That's what I was trying to do, but I was so rudely mocked for my pronunciation of mirror. Right. So Chimp messed up by trying to bring back Nightmaster, and instead he basically enacted that everyone who was dead in Mirror would keep coming back. So there's this skeleton.
He broke death.
Yes, he broke death. Yeah. There's a skeleton army attacking the castle, and this is what Blue Devil was in. Blue Devil got announced for the Swamp Thing TV show, and I was bugging me what I'd read him in recently, and it was this.
I told you when he was announced. I said, "Oh, we just saw him recently."
You ever told me the book though?
Well, I could have told you.
But see, I like that basically Chimp tricked Blue Devil into taking his place as the defender of Mira, and then his, him talking to the Justice League Dark and being like, yeah, so I'm basically just an actor and not a great one at that, and I've had to act like I know what I'm doing. Yeah. The entire time. I loved that turn.
What touch I liked about Chimp? I liked the idea. He asked for like mead at one point and say, "Well, you're going to drink when you're doing this, like spell that's going to fix the world." He's like, "No, seriously, it helps me think because my intelligence is so high that when I read a certain word, I'll think of it every other time I've read it. I need the alcohol to dull that out so I can focus."
Yeah, it was when Wonder Woman passes the flask through the jail cell, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" She goes, "Mead." She said, "Bless you."
And then she rips off the cell door, or not even the door, just the whole,
just the wall,
just the whole thing.
Wall.
Yeah.
And I like too. Pete always says that you can do magic really well when you establish the rules. Mm-hmm. And here, how they compared the magic in our world. It's like it's a little tiny bit, but in Mira, it's the whole thing. So one little thing goes wrong in a spell, and it completely uproots that entire world. So I like that Tynion's, he's establishing just how different it is there. Also, Blue Devil looking at Man-Bat and going, "Isn't he a Batman villain?" And him going, "Hey, the serum was wrong. I don't want to eat any of your guys' faces right now, so we're good." Like, I love Man-Bat more and more each issue.
Nah, that was good. So no, I enjoyed the issue. I didn't love it. I still not reached the height of the first 3 for me since we did the crossover.
This arc is back up for me. Right, this is top.
I like these 2 issues, and then so Detective Chimp, we find out that he broke death and whatnot by trying to take the cheap way out, but his mission's still not over because he has to pass the sword to Nightmaster's actual son.
Yeah, we find out
somewhere.
So this is his get out. This is why he's not going to be saddled with us forever. There's a son to pass it on to. So.
Allegedly, he doesn't really believe it. He's like, "No, I can't find him.
He'll have him. We'll find him."
Oh, I will. Yeah.
But it's a mystery, and Detective Chimp loves the mystery, and so I love that. And then we got so Connor's our resident Dr. Fate fan.
Yes.
So Naboo, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in the helm.
He is the helm, yeah, kind of.
Right. So there's no one perceivably in that body, right? Like, it's just basically clothes moving around by itself.
No, I think it's Kent Nelson.
Yeah,
but he's been possessed by when Naboo. Yeah, Naboo's locked Kent Nelson.
Because I was going to question actually when he takes off the helmet at one point. I thought, wait, shouldn't Nelson be back in control then when the helmet's off?
Right. And that's what I thought too. So that's why I thought, well, no, he's just the costume running around.
I think it's just at that point Naboo's just like, no, okay. I'm in control here. Then the helmet, it's still extending.
Yeah, because him and the Phantom Stranger are basically duking it out magically throughout the issue.
Yeah.
And then eventually Constantine kind of sacrifices himself and says, "No, Swamp Thing, get out. We need you to win this." So Swamp Thing goes to the rest of the team.
Yeah. Notably, no body. But
yeah,
I'm okay if this Constantine's gone. Yeah.
Well, no,
back over to Vertigo.
But did he get pulled into the helm like Phantom Stranger did?
Yeah. So I guess technically it's not death anyway. He could come back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is like in those movies where the villain allows themselves to get caught so he can work it from the inside. Yeah. I feel that's what Constantine did. We were wondering if Phantom Stranger was still the New 52 version of Judas, and this was his penance for what he did. I don't think so, because they made mention like Stranger's been, on Earth even before Earth was a thing.
Yeah. This is then this. I think this is the retcon, because up until when you asked me last issue, I had not seen anything to contradict that it had changed. That it wasn't the New 52 version. Right. This doesn't feel like that now, though. This feels like the classic, eternal entity.
Yeah, and I like that, because I like that he kind of represents Earth and of itself and whatnot. But like the whole idea of there's only a few people that could ever go toe to toe with Phantom Stranger, but one of them was always Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
And you just get that moment that he absorbs him into the helm. You're like, oh man. So this Lords of Order stuff is like, I'm really, really digging.
Yeah.
So.
So Constantine writes a message to Zatanna through blood, some wrist cutting.
Some blood magic.
Classic Constantine.
Saying find Mordo. So that's
that makes me excited.
What they're going to be on the hunt for next issue, presumably.
Yeah.
Because I just read the first chunk of the Robinson and John's JSA, and Mordru factors really heavily in there.
Yeah.
So, and he was going after the Fate Child.
Yeah, he's a big part of that first arc in the tower, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, really good stuff. So I think for me, obviously, I don't love the magic stuff as much as you do. And I think for me, the first half of this issue was a little bit heavy on the word balloons. Very dense word balloons as well. And I say that because, sometimes when you're reading a comic, and especially when you've got a 2-page layout, and this is not strange to Tynion's writing, but sometimes the screen will start to like go dark because I've not touched anything in a while, because it's been taking so long to read. That happened to me in this book on a single page. And it's never happened to me before on a one-page page, if you know what I mean, like a single page layout. And it happened to me.
He is a student of Snyder, right? Like, so.
And I was near the end of it. Don't get me wrong, when it started to fade out, and I had to tap it to make it light up again. But like, it's never happened to me in a single page before, and I'm like, kill it with the exposition. Stop. That's all I'm saying. Just kill it down a little bit.
I didn't notice it being a problem.
I didn't either.
I feel like so many of the books I read this week had such good pacing. I felt the pacing in the first half of this one just felt a little bit chuggy because of it.
Okay. I guess it's one of those things where I was into what it was saying or what the dialogue was, so I didn't feel it. Whereas, if you're not as into it, it's much more of a problem, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to say this with another book that's coming up, but I know this is a Justice League book, but it feels like one of those weird ones I would have read in the mid-2000s, like, that nobody else was reading. Like, kind of like Demon Knights, in that way where they're odd characters. There's not really, or even Secret Six.
Yeah, there's no real reason for them to be thrown together. It's just like, hey, this is cool.
Or Grayson's Outsiders was like that too.
Yeah.
So, and I get that vibe from this team, and I like learning about all of them.
Yeah.
And what they do. So, I want to know what Swamp Thing and Constantine's plan was, because the idea that those two are being forced to work together is
classic, isn't it?
I really liked Tracy 13. Like, Bobo comes back and he's like, get us some drinks, and she's like, nah, I'm done for the night. I'll see you tomorrow. Piss off.
Yeah.
I dig that. Anyway, all right, so let's rate the book then. Matt, what are you giving it?
Yep, this was an 8. I'm just handing them out this week.
Apparently so. Connor?
I'm going with 8.5. It worked for me.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 on this. I still liked it. I still stuff I like. I like Chimp a lot. I like some of the stuff that it's doing. But I'm not as big in some of the mythology stuff as a lot of this magic side of things. Particularly here where it's not necessarily horror, because the other kind, like they're terrifying and scary and like this mysterious thing. Whereas the mirror stuff is a bit more Wizard of Ozzy.
Yeah, I don't know. When that page with all the skeletons charging at them, I'm like, hell yeah, cool. I'm so into this.
Little Army of Darkness, that's sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Missing Bruce Campbell to make it pop though. But and then I thought it was a bit wordy, especially in the first half.
Bruce Campbell is Detective Chimp.
Oh, he could voice Detective Chimp. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see it. So there you go. We'll move on then to randomly in the middle, and the reason why this is in the middle, I didn't want to put all the Bat books at the start, so I put the Batman Who Laughs here right in the middle. So this is issue 1 of this miniseries. Scott Snyder writing, Jock on art, which right away means art's going to be really nice. So
fantastic.
Art was glorious.
Yeah.
So
hell of a variant from Capullo as well.
Oh sure, yeah. So here's the thing with this. I wasn't sure what the focus of this was going to be. Like, is this going to be like a Batman story where the Batman Who Laughs is the villain, or is like he the protagonist? And I'm glad that he's not the protagonist, because I think that'd have been a weird read.
Yeah, that would have been.
So I'm in. So here's the thing. I actually was really digging a lot of this, because I was like, because by the time we get to the section where we get like what was it, the Grim Knight, I think he's called, who's like the Punisher Batman from another Earth.
Yeah. Just icing people.
Just going through Arkham with guns everywhere.
Yeah, just killing like guards left and right, almost killing Mr. Freeze. Because Mr. Freeze is like, hey, you're not like this Batman, you're better than this, and he just lets him with
What's wrong with you?
Hits him with a flamethrower.
Trying to appeal to his sympathy.
Right, and he gets to like what looks like the Joker.
When he throws the knife into the last guard's head, just before the Joker's cell.
Yeah, and the art's gorgeous as well. And I'm like, and I'm not necessarily I don't necessarily like evil Batman and Superman, right? But I like it when the real Batman or Superman are the one who has to fight them, because then it becomes a bit more interesting, because they're having to like face their own worst versions or some shit.
Right.
So and then of course, like, Joker's like, oh, you won't kill me, and then the Batman Who Laughs appears, no, but I will. So this I keep wanting to say Grim Reaper, the Grim Knight is obviously working for the Batman Who Laughs, right? So we established that,
which I don't like, because when I heard he was going to be in there, I figured this would have been the perfect foil for the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, I really think about it, but that's fair. But at this point, I'm thinking, this is like Batman on Infinite Earths, right? I'm kind of into this idea of all these crazy Batmen, and the real Batman has to like deal with it. That's interesting. Then the ending happened, and my opinion nosedived.
I'm glad it's not just me, because we all know that I can get the tag of I don't like Batman.
Yeah.
Because I for bias reasons, but I was really enjoying this, and then the grim Batman stuff happened, and I was just like, I don't necessarily like that.
I was still into it there. I was still into it.
Yeah,
it was right up until the last 2 pages that I didn't like.
I like that, but then you find out that Joker was a decoy. I don't like that.
Well, see, that's funny, because I don't necessarily like that in general, but it made sense to me here, because I'm like, but we know the Joker's off with Legion of Doom and shit. This is weird. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Yeah, so, and it's like, is that part of the, like, Arkham Protocol, that we just keep people in cells to make them look like
I assume Joker.
Oh, yeah, Joker put the decoy. Like, Gordon only knew it was a decoy because after he was dead, they checked him, obviously, and it was like, oh, this isn't Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but everyone at Arkham thought it was the Joker.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Okay. I took it as decoy, like, no, this is like an operation of...
No. Joker's decoy, so he could go away and do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I like it a little more now.
Yeah, and I like Batman having to explain to Gordon who the Batman Who Laughs is. Like, he's a version of Batman who killed the Joker, but the Joker had this stuff in his heart, this gas that turned the Batman into the Joker. So he's like a fusion of the both, right? And that's fine.
Well, I like that it's all of like the Batman who's obsessed with winning.
Yeah.
And I like that, because it's one of these, I'm gonna take down the because Batman argument, and I like that Snyder's using that. But when we got to the end, and
the last 3 pages, the Joker shows up in the cave out of some weird stupid Snyder level exposition thing.
No, this is from his New 52 run.
Yeah.
How does that make any less bullshit?
No, this is how Joker knows about how to be there, because he came through those caves before and up the water.
No, I'm talking about the idea that he was waiting there until they just turn the thing off.
Yeah.
Well, I assume, it was, okay, no, he heard about the things. It's like, right, I'm going to go there now. And he was waiting on the other side, not in the water necessarily.
I felt like how long has he been waiting there? It just felt like kind of weird to me.
Probably only a couple of hours.
That's still weird.
Is it?
He's just waiting until the Batman might figure this out, so he'll open the gate.
I mean, I think he's pretty confident Batman's going to figure it out.
Okay, I don't know. It felt a bit convoluted to me.
But so I do like that, because Snyder is writing Justice League, and we get that that rivalry between Joker
Yeah.
and Batman Who Laughs. It's like Joker's like, no, I don't like this guy.
And
This guy
here's
is
the
not
thing.
you.
See, when Batman was like, "Oh, you'll be safe here," I thought, "Oh, this is interesting. The Batman's going to have to protect Joker." I thought that okay, that's an interesting concept for the rest of this story. And then
Yep.
Joker seemingly kills himself and releases the gas in his heart, and we end with the final page of Batman being Jokerized, and I'm like, okay, that's just what.
I don't hate this anywhere near as much as you do.
I just like either this is going to be like going to weird Elseworlds territory, or somehow this Jokerized Batman's not going to do anything that he's going to regret because I don't want him to do anything he's going to
No,
regret.
this
Well,
is
no,
this is
so-
in continuity. It's got the DC Universe corner box.
Okay, well, and then my final complaint is the final outcome is that it's just going to feel cheap and retconned, and it's another one of Snyder's bullshit cliffhangers that really mean nothing in the long run. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't like it. There's nothing about this cliffhanger that makes me go, this is exciting.
The last 3 pages remind me of All-Star Batman.
Yeah, this can't be real because the Joker's not dead and Batman's not going to be Jokerized for long.
And here's the thing with Joker's, like, call me a fool for pointing out flaws in Joker's plan. Like, so to defeat the Batman Who Laughs, you created another Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, so I don't understand why you think the Joker's actually dead and not.
Well,
it's
he's
not
not
just a
actually
blood
dead.
pack.
I don't believe
No,
he's
but
actually
that it's
dead.
not just a blood pack and some gas in there.
I just that's my problem. It's presented as if he is. The entire cliffhanger just reeks of like his shock value.
See, I on Batman himself turning, sure, but on the Joker side, I don't agree. He fakes his death so Bruce comes into him and it's like and goes over to him and gets the gas.
But
right?
still,
That makes sense.
Even
to me.
if this goes the way they think it is like Bruce knows about the toxin in Joker, so which tells me that he's probably synthesized an antidote. So that's it's kind of there's no. I hate to bring up the stakes, but I just feel like this is just a filler. Like I don't feel like anything's gonna come of this outside of destroying the Because Batman.
There could be something.
That's fine.
Yeah, there could be. I think the story overall may have something from it, but this cliffhanger feels like a bullshit All-Star Batman cliffhanger where it's just there for the shock value. And even if it's just the Batman side of it, then fine. But it still is like it feels like a sensational like because this is what's going to. We have to do the shocking thing in comics. It's the exact opposite of the norm.
Really don't agree with this on this one.
I hate this cliffhanger. I hate it.
I don't love it. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens. But I'm like, yeah, okay, it's an end of an issue, right? I don't get this hatred at all.
It feels like just your typical shock value. Of course, this is what he's going to do as the ending.
I just feel slighted because I was really enjoying it up until that ending. Like the stuff with the houses and the people.
Yeah, that car
bodies.
chase. Yeah, that car chase with the chasing the model homes in the truck was actually kind of fun.
Bruce finding a body of himself, but it's a version that quit after having his back broken.
Because he's got all the scars and injuries from before that point, but he doesn't have anything from beyond the Bane breaking his back.
So where did that come from?
Yeah.
So I like all that, and then we get to this, like Pete said, this all-star.
Don't get me wrong.
Here's the reason I like this going forward. If this is sticking for the arc, it's called the Batman Who Laughs, right? And I know, that's the other Batman, but the idea of no, it refers to both of them, and that's why I think it'll stick for the arc. This story.
I guess I just don't like I didn't like the idea of the Batman Who Laughs being a protagonist. I don't necessarily like the idea of a Jokerized Batman being the protagonist either.
I mean, it could be interesting. I'm not like opposed to it.
It depends how far gone he is. Like if it's kind of like lukewarm Jokerization.
Yeah, we'll see.
Does that make it
this
work?
is why I'm not like. I don't immediately hate it. I really don't.
I don't.
To me, the Batman Who Laughs will always be the end of killing Joke when he finally laughs at Joker's joke.
Sure, yeah.
That always will mean more than any of this I think, metal stuff.
I'm still reading this issue too. Like I'm assuming that it's going to retcon this almost immediately or whatever. Because I like the rest of the issue a lot, and I'm hoping it continues down the path of what the rest of the issue is doing.
My assumption for the next issue is that you said, oh yeah, he'll have an antidote. Alfred will be like, here, let's get the antidote. But him in the Jokerized state will be like, no, I'm staying like this. and I think that'll be part of the next issue.
Yeah.
Guys, I got it.
Mhm.
I got it. Snyder's gonna fix Nightwing by he's gonna get hit with a crowbar, and it's gonna remind him that he's Dick Grayson, not Rick Grayson, and then we get Nightwing back.
See, you joke, but I'll take it. If it
Yeah, I'll
gives me
take it. If
Grayson
that's what works,
Right?
that works. Yeah, whatever works, man. Whatever works. So yeah, so I like the idea of this mystery alternate Bruce who's dead. Like, what universe did he come from?
Yeah.
I like the car chase. I like the art. I like the stuff of like the Grim Knight and just murdering everyone. And the idea of our Batman having to face these different versions of Batman. Not like the ending. I don't like if this is what they stick with, and this is kind of what the premise of the whole thing is. Once we go, as we keep going, I will not be a fan of the following issues, but I'm hoping it becomes more of what I liked about the first issue, which is the majority of the issue, which makes rating it kind of weird. But
it does, and I'm trying to get my rating together, but like those last couple pages really left a sour taste for me.
yeah,
Like, it really colored the rest of the issue. So
yeah. So I'll probably rate it like I'll go with a 6. Because, if you take out those last 3 pages, this is probably a solid 8. But I'm taking 2 points off for that bullshit ending.
Okay, yeah.
That's
So,
severe.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with a 7, because I don't, I rate differently than Pete. But I didn't know whether to go 6, 7, 7.5, like, because again, I like 2/3 of it, right? And then you get to the end part, and again, it left a sour taste, and I didn't. So it's weird. So yeah,
That's broke a streak. Damn it. Oh, is it a really positive streak?
What's funny is something that Pete often accuses me of is if I don't like an idea, I just and this is kind of that here. It's like it's not even done anything bad yet. It just doesn't like it as a concept, so he's against it. It's like I'm not going to like it if it does this.
That's true to a point, but I feel like the cliffhanger itself feels like one of Snyder's cliffhangers where, like Matt said, it reminds me of All-Star Batman.
I'm more referring to when you said, if this is what the book is for the rest of it, I'm not going to enjoy it. Like, you can't know that yet, surely. It's just it hasn't seen what it's doing with it.
I don't think... Okay, it makes me very concerned and very...
That's different.
Hard, I am skeptical of what the take could be on... If it sticks with this... that I could enjoy. You've said some weirder things, though. You've made some weird,
probably,
statements. What are you rating it anyway?
I'm giving it the 8 because I really didn't have a problem with this ending.
Then I think that's fair. I think that the last couple pages knocks down a point.
Yeah.
It's down 2 for Pete.
So yeah, so we'll move on. To Titans number 31, Dan Abnett writing. We had both Clayton Henry and Brent Peeples on the art, and this is the team coming back from the planet Kel Rayner takes them back to Earth, and they're like, shit, all that water went away. I guess we're late to help with that.
I love that. I love that it. So I've been down on it during Drowned Earth because of this stuff, because it just felt like an unnecessary detour, and now we're right back into what I was loving it. So this issue felt really good, and then Kyle just being like, "No, I'm staying. I'm gonna help you guys out."
I actually really liked the last issue for the most part, but I dig that this feels like it's recouping, and everyone's kind of like getting back in, and they're doing medical scans on everyone, and Donna's kind of asserting herself as a leader, and I really like to see him with Batman because Batman is basically like prodding them and. Almost to the point where he wants Donna to take charge and say, no, I'm the leader of this team, and this team is still going to do its job. And that is, because even with Kyle, where he kind of intentionally is like dropping that they need like a team member, and then Kyle says, no, I'm staying. He's like, that's the spirit. Because Batman actually says that, the spirit, and I was like, you know what, that was actually a well-earned that's the spirit Batman moment. I was kind of into it.
Well, it was Batman being the teacher, right?
Yeah.
Like, which I like, so...
yeah,
but and then the scene where the red comes through Gar,
through Beast Boy, which it's a great scene because I was like, what's going on here? This is really random and weird, and then it was like, no, we are the Red speaking through Gar Logan, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Why is the Red speaking through him? And then they're like, no, the cult of blood, right? The blood cult.
Right.
What they're doing is they're trying to take control of the red using the energy from the source wall. This is what their end game is. So we are contacting you to get on this. We need to stop them. So do it.
Yeah. And I like that the red's still a thing because we've dealt with the green so much in Justice League Dark.
I love the idea.
Titans,
I love the idea that the red wants to contact through Gar because Gar is clearly going to be connected somewhat to it,
right,
because of his powers.
Right.
Because
if Animal Man's the Avatar like Swamp Thing is, then it makes sense that Gar is kind of like Poison Ivy, to where that could be him one day, in the Animal Man spot.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, but yeah, so I like that, and I like him like, hey, what happened? Why is everybody covered in red stuff?
Yeah, because when he finishes, all the red kind of like tendons and stuff that come out of his mouth and that, they all kind of burst and like they cover everyone in like red blood and pus and goo and whatever. Yeah. And he's like, why is everyone covered in ketchup? What's going on? He just kind of plays dumb. Yeah.
Viscera.
So good. And it all kind of boils down to, because we also have a scene where it's McGann's talking to Raven about her soul self. It's like, oh, it's in that fictional world that was created by the dude back in issue 24, but we sealed that off. We can't go back there. But then it turns out that they actually have to go back there because that's where the blood cult are trying to go to get this, to get this guy, and the energy. So it's like, no, we're going to have to try and open a door. So that's how we kind of end, basically, with the energy and the devices that Natasha and what's his face?
Ben.
Yeah, Ben Rubel from Supergirl.
Rubel.
Who brings up that he knows that Miss Martian's a white Martian, but then Natasha's like, no, we all found out, but she's fine. Like, just, respect her privacy. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay, it's cool. So do you know what I'm thinking about this? It feels like, unlike the first chunk of the book, before we got this new direction, it really feels like there's so many elements going on, and all the characters have their own arcs that they're all going through.
Yep.
McGann, because Batman basically reveals that, yeah, you're kind of looking after McGann because she's going through a lot, and she's a white Martian. And
John asked, wanted her there so people could keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
Because she needs like a sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of like the last white Martian. So.
Yeah, because it wasn't like you're babysitting her in the sense where she has to watch because she might do something bad. She needs support. Right. She needs a support group.
Right.
And that was a nice touch. So
yeah. In Justice League Dark, I talked about how it feels like one of these books that I used to read, that is a smaller thing. This is Titans to a T. This reminds me of all those books where it's a random assortment of characters, but they're all doing cool stuff. And by the end of it, all the characters are better for it. Like, this is the most I've liked Beast Boy, I think, ever. Even through John's Teen Titans.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
This version of him that's conflicted because he can't maintain a form and whatnot.
And Kyle as well is important here because he's he was beyond the source wall back in like one of the, I don't know what run that was, end of New 52.
It was under
the New 52, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a White Lantern. He went beyond the source wall.
And and him being like, it's not good behind there.
I think that was that might have been at the end of his New Guardians book because he lost being a White Lantern for a while.
Do you know what I like about that? I like that they remember that was something they brought up, like, unrelated to everything that's going on now. But no, that happened in his book. He went beyond the source wall. We should probably mention that. And I like that it's relevant here. It's like no, he saw like all the power and energy that they have to maintain and keep back.
Well, he's not just on the team because he got them off of the planet.
Yeah,
and he's a Green Lantern. It's like, oh no, him being there actually makes sense.
Yeah, and it feels right. Even though he's not typically been a Titans character, it feels right that because he's older, like Donna, that they'll kind of like co-lead the team. Although Donna's definitely the leader, she's definitely asserted herself.
Well, in the 90s, he was on a Titans team.
I tried catching up on Titans this week, and I do not understand how you're so positive. It felt like a minute ago you mentioned how all the characters have all these threads, and it's to me it felt so messy.
Well, there's no accounting for taste, Connor, and we've clearly established many a time that your taste.
I'm thinking like it was every issue. It was like Raven going, "Oh yeah, I lost my soul self." I'm like, "Okay, shut up, I know."
Yeah, but we addressed that too, because I brought that up. Like we get it, and now there's payoff now. So
yeah, they're getting to it. I think all the characters are pretty likable. The camaraderie is likable. Kyle sticking around is great because I like Kyle a lot. Obviously, him and his crab mask, his glorious crab mask. Praise Bebo.
Do not sully Bebo's name with a crab mask.
It's how religious war starts, guys.
Bebo wills it. Bebo, the crab mask exists because Bebo wills it so.
Bebo is going to take pot shots at that crab mask when it happens.
Oh my god! I just thought.
Wait, is this a hint that Kyle Rayner's coming to Legends? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. I will say though, I just had a thought, and I won't spoil a little bit of spoilers from that. I will just say that I hope Bebo is central to the crossover next year.
Obviously.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was it. So they go through the door. They make a door. It's kind of mixed with a construct from Kyle, from the stuff that they've built and everything else. It's like, okay, we're going into this fictional world to try and get the soul self, but also try and deal with the cult. So
the blood cult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So Connor's questionable opinions be damned. All right, Matt, what are you giving this issue?
This is an 8.5 for me. I just
8.5,
halfway through the book, I was like, "Wow, I'm really enjoying this."
I
This
won't
feels
go,
like a throwback.
I won't go quite that high. I'll go with a solid 8. But I'm really digging this as a B tier book. Like I'm really having fun every time I read it. It's come back to single shipping, which is fine. But it was only double shipping for like 2, maybe 3 months, which is weird. But if that's what's going to keep it chugging along, then cool. I guess it may have been because it was tying into the crossover, and they wanted to not have it linger. That. Yeah, not linger like on that for too long.
Well, because it was double shipping on the event too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes sense. So so that was Titans 31. Next up is Hawkman issue 7. Robert Venditti writing, Bryan Hitch on the art. Finally, I get to take a break, which means I'm gonna go get a snack. So you guys take it away.
Yeah. So this is probably the best issue of the book for me.
Easy.
It's so good. So this is the origin issue, which of course we've been building to, because that's actually been built into the premise of the whole book so far.
But you know what I like too? It doesn't change any other origin of Hawkman.
No, this just comes before all of the others.
It builds on it, and it's like, hey, you want to know why Khufu was cursed? This is why Khufu was cursed.
Yeah, because it turns out originally his very first form, he was Qatar. No apostrophe in this time.
Ktar, just Qatar Deathbringer. Which
he was one of the Deathbringers, which we've been teasing since the start of the book.
Qatar Deathbringer would be an awesome band.
Yeah, it would.
Right. So, anyways,
this book opens with this fantastic page of like these vultures picking all these bodies, and then it's just Hawkman stood amongst a field of bodies, and it's a phenomenal couple of pages.
Yeah. And just his entire, like, he has grown weary. He's the weary soldier. So it turns out that the Deathbringers are basically going planet to planet and wiping people out. It reminded me, so like, look, I'm not a religious scholar, so I'm probably missing a bunch of stuff. But from what I've heard about Bible stories, this reminded me of like the tales of the archangels.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see it.
Like they are God's wrath, and they are culling the herd, and that's what it felt like they were doing. These two Deathbringers, it's Qatar and what's the other guy's name?
I forget. I'll see if I can skim it and find it.
Yeah, but they're going through, and Qatar's just like, I'm kind of over this, because they're taking all of these basically innocents from their planets to this altar in the center of space.
He's called Idam.
Yeah, Idam. And they're sacrificing him to, I assume, is from metal, the bat.
I would have thought so, and they're trying to bring him through.
Right. Who is that bat character?
The name, I'm blanking on the name.
The main bad guy in metal.
Yeah. Barbados.
Yeah, Barbados. Which again plays this right in the metal really nice.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And so, but he ends up seeing this, Qatar ends up seeing this redheaded woman amongst these bodies.
Yeah, and he's like, "How are you here?" You know, we
Right.
he keeps seeing on all these. We get a list of all these planets that they're culling,
Right.
including Earth, Krypton, Ran, Thanagar's in there.
Yeah.
You know, all of the quads in there. And this woman's just always there taunting him. Not, she doesn't
Yeah.
even say anything most of the time, but just her
No,
presence.
she's just taunting him because it's his conscience almost going like, "You're better than this,"
Yeah,
and after some reflections, he decides like after one of the calls on Thanagar, he lets the Thanagarians know he's like, "Hey, look, don't die for me."
it said, "Don't die because of me. Don't die
Right.
for me. Die with me."
Oh, such a great
And he, smashes the pillar, which is the portal,
right,
and it's
and
this
he
rebellion that
right,
occurs.
and him and Adam are fighting, and it's kind of hinted that Adam's like, "You're going soft. I'm gonna take your spot." Like, if you let the other Deathbringers know you're going soft, they're coming for you.
Yeah, because
And
he's the leader of the Deathbringers.
right, he's the general, and so him and Adam fight, and he gets pierced by
Yeah, he
Adam's
gets
axe,
stabbed pretty good.
and so he ends up in this like purgatory where this voice talks to him,
Yeah,
and it's like, look, so you were changing, and you realize that this whole, basically sacrificing innocence wasn't good, but you still need to be punished. So you can
yeah,
either
and
die
it's
now.
field of skulls that he's in, presumably representing all the people he has
Right.
sacrificed.
It is so metal.
And it's yeah, that's the deal. It's like you can die now, and you
Right.
will be kind of punished in essentially hell.
Perpetuity.
Yeah. Or you can live again and again, reincarnate across space and time until you save as many lives as you've ended. You've got to make up the debt, and you'll never know how many there is.
Right.
You'll never know how close you are, but each person you save, you'll get closer to your final death.
Right. And so now it's become a story about forgiveness. And if you had told me that was going to start in Hawkman, like, you're like, okay, well, that's crazy. And then, what's funny too is that Morrison tried to swap out Hawkman for Zoriel
Yeah.
during his Justice League run, who was an angel. So, like, I feel like tying them all together and whatnot, like, it was super cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fantastic. And he's off, to fight the Deathbringers at some point, but he's heading towards Krypton next.
Right? Well, what's left of Krypton?
Well,
you
yeah.
assume. And yeah, so we're gonna get the Krypton version of him next. Katar.
This issue was fantastic.
Mhm.
We've been pretty high on the book overall.
Yeah.
But this was above and beyond what I was expecting from it.
Yeah, it really, because I'd always, been people have propped up Johns as Hawkman forever, and it's really good. Don't get me wrong, but like, it still doesn't really clarify Hawkman. Whereas I feel like Venditti looked at that series and went, "Oh no, I can clarify Hawkman.
I can do better."
And this is it. Like,
because this origin doesn't undermine a single
anything.
origin change he's ever had. Any
No.
version, it's like, yeah, they all work.
Well,
It's kind of a Morrison approach to it. It's like,
Well, it
screw
is,
it, we're doing all of them.
right. Or it's like when they reboot something and it's like, well, no, all of us are like Star Trek. Everything needed to happen in Star Trek as it happens in order to get the Chris Pine, J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams version. So that's true here too. All of the stuff that we know of Hawkman has to be there, so it all makes sense why he's been reincarnated. And it's not just the Egyptian curse from Set, which isn't his name Set Adam? Or no, it's Half Set.
Half Set, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's going to tie into, is that's why they always go rounds. He always runs into Half Set, because it's Adam. So, but yeah, this is really cool. The art looks really good, and like you were saying,
we've been praising Hitch's art a lot more than I've ever praised Hitch's art before.
Yeah.
But the flow onto like that first page, and then just the real of him just stood there is fantastic. Him in the field of skulls is gorgeous.
Well, too, as crazy as it gets, it's still Hitch just being restrained, because it's not a lot going on. It's Qatar standing on a field of skulls.
It's epic in scope, but it's not plotted.
Exactly. So
no, it's fantastic. Yeah,
really good.
Ratings.
Cool.
I'm going 9.
Yeah, I'm going 9.5. It's
Damn.
really good.
It is fantastic.
Yeah. I'm glad you said this is probably the best because when I got done reading it last night, I was like, yeah, this is the best Hawkman issue so far. Like,
Yeah. We've been enjoying it, but it's not even close that this is the best.
Nope.
Yeah, it's no Abdel Nightwing though. All right.
Shut that mouth.
Hey, what I say? Even in your way of thinking about it, that's still a correct statement. It's no Abdel Nightwing though. That can be positive and negative.
Right.
It's nowhere near as bad. Yeah.
Or nowhere near as good. It could be either.
It's like saying it's no kick in the nuts. Like, it's a true statement.
It's true, yeah.
Technically, yes.
So we'll move on to Sideways issue 11, which is Dan Didio and Kenneth Rocafort's on art again. And we've got 2 issues left after this. Issue 13 is the final one.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's sad because this again was enjoyable. It's kind of, you can tell it's ramping up to kind of the conclusion of what it's been doing, though, in the sense that Derek finds out about who killed his mother. He's kidnapped. What was the name of the villain here that kidnaps him after some fighting? Bolt, yeah. And it's some really fun stuff here actually, where he does the thing where he creates the portal underneath his feet again, and then he laughs and goes, "No, I can fly. This isn't going to work." He's like, "That wasn't for you." And then you see, because he obviously has Ernie at this point, and you see Ernie's legs like coming through the portal above sideways his head, and he's jumping up and holding onto your feet to pull her down through the portal.
It's very of those Portal memes that I've seen online because I've never played Portal, but like the one I've seen right now is the Christmas tree, where half of it's coming through the ceiling, and they put the portal rings around it. This reminded me of that. So
I just made a video game reference.
I did.
He did. And Ernie gets teleported back against her will back to her house, and she's like, no, I need to help Derek somehow. She tries calling the Hall of Justice, but is apparently put on hold. Yeah. I mean, to be fair to the Justice League, they can't just take every call from every random teenager who's saying something.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. Because when she's like, I have to get some help, and you're like,
they have a receptionist, someone to go through all the phone messages.
They have to.
I guess they do, yeah.
I want that issue of Justice League, just the person on the phone.
It's basically like Alfred's Batman annual. It's like Beth, who's like this trooper who goes through all these calls, all this shit.
And at the end, she finally gets a thank you.
Yeah, finally Batman says, decent job.
Yeah.
That was an adequate performance, Beth, over the last year.
Here's a tip.
To be fair, he's probably paying her a fortune because he's Bruce Wayne.
He better leave a damn fine tip.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He just hands her a back credit card and says, go nuts. No limit.
God, that was a thing in the movie.
Yeah, it was. So we also have the cop who's investigating the murder, and there's the tease that someone, presumably Sideways, although possibly the bad guy, but was sneaking into the cop's computer during the night, and they were trying to monitor who was sneaking a peek at his computer files. But he is on his way to the labs, the dark labs at the end, and there's an explosion. And we don't see what causes the explosion. It's left as a complete mystery to us at the end.
Well, because the one lady who is the boss of the mom, I forget her name.
Yeah.
She has this whole villainous monologue how out of crisis. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
You broke up a little bit there, but yeah, she said she loves Crisis. Ever since the first Crisis, she's learned about them, and she wants to tap into the potential of all the other worlds.
And she's gonna use the energy from Derek.
Yeah.
Because they've been onto him since Metal, since the Mountain and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, since he was in the hospital specifically, that's when they clocked him. So he knows who killed his mom. It feels like it's ramping up. I'm loving the supporting cast still. Ernie's great.
Her sister, though, was, and I know it was probably on purpose, was just terrible.
Oh, yeah, she's awful. That's the point, though, because Ernie's getting mad at her for being awful.
I know.
She's shutting the door on her.
But it was still one of those ones where it made me cringe, but in a good way, because that's what you're supposed to do. But I was just like, ugh. Talking about your parents' divorce like that, well... I'll go with mom because she does all this, but dad on the weekends because he'll just give me the credit card and buy me what I want. I was just like, oh, you're a terrible teenage girl. Oh, but yeah, the art was fantastic. It's good to see Rockefort back on. I hope he does the final 2 issues. Like
I feel like he probably is going to. We could check the solicits, of course, but I'm pretty sure he probably is. That's probably why he's back on it, because it's ending.
Yeah,
and he helped create the characters.
Oh, also, I get caught up on Silencer over the week.
Ooh.
So seems like Silencer's sticking around. I do hope Sideways they find a way to put him somewhere, put him on the Teen Titans or something. Like, he's a good character.
That's cool. It's nice that we'll all be taught about Silencer come.
I
was gonna say week 4. It's actually week 1 in this case, because they're doing it in January.
Yeah, I got to know what's going on with Leviathan. It's the Bendis. This is all Bendis' fault. That's why I really got caught up. It's not that you guys were constantly saying good things. It's Bendis and teasing Leviathan. So
is it the same Leviathan though? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But yeah, that's how it was good. What were you giving it, Matt?
Oh, so this was an 8. I thought it's really ramping up, and then again, it was good to see Rocafort on art.
Yeah, I go with 7.5. I really liked a lot of it. It had a kind of a weird structure to it. And because when it ended, I thought, oh, we're done already. I was like, I guess it's kind of a compliment in a way, but I
did like Bolt, just the douchiness of him, like, I can fly, kid, and then when he just kind of drops him off, So I like that too.
It was good. So that'll take us out of the last book, which is just me. But I promised last week when these two said they probably wouldn't get to it, I promised that I would read Batman Damned issue 2. So I'm throwing it in here at the end. First thing, the art is gorgeous, right? The art is
it's Bermejo, right?
Yeah,
it is. But like it feels otherworldly. It's the same way when I'm reading like an Alex Ross interior comic book, where everything just feels like it has this like extra sheen of quality to it. Very similar. Not similar style necessarily, but like very similar in how they feel overall because of that. And yeah, it's gorgeous. So you've got this idea of Batman being, haunted by the possible dead Joker, and he is, it builds up to this big sort of final scene. He's sort of looking into it. He goes to a nightclub where Jason Blood is rapping. So he's rhyming, of course, because he's rapping.
I love this book.
Sure. At first, I heard Jason Todd rapping, and that's what made me my first reaction. And then when he said it was rhyming, I was like, "Oh no, wrong Jason."
Yeah, Etrigan, yes. And Batman goes in and beats him up a little bit and gets some information, but he's trying to find out, what's going on here, and the missing time, and blah blah blah. And Constantine's there at the start because he was at the end of the last issue. He's giving him some advice and whatnot, but. The whole thing is the big sort of talking point about this issue though is the Harley scene towards the end where the bat signal goes on, but it's all Joker-fied. But when he goes up to the building to encounter the Joker, it's actually Harley with very Joker-esque hair and whatever. But it's Harley because she's got the red and black outfit on and stuff underneath the purple jacket and underneath the the hair and whatnot. And it gets a little bit sexual, where she's on top of him. She's going to undress a little bit. Batman kind of de-escalates it very quickly. He kind of grabs her by the throat and just kind of,
yeah, and not exactly out of character for Harley.
De-escalates.
Well, you know what I mean. De-escalates the sexuality of the moment. But the book ends with him. He's got her by the neck up against the bat signal, and in the reflection, and you see this earlier on, it's like the ghosty sort of character that he gets a vision of. It looks kind of like I think it was honestly my biggest problem with this issue is that it's been so long since the last issue that I couldn't remember almost anything that happened in it. And I was trying to say, was Enchantress in the last one? Did we talk about Enchantress? I can't remember.
It was like 3 months ago.
It was a long time ago.
Well, no, I do remember talking about Enchantress because I had to look up. So, she came to young Bruce as he was having a nightmare.
Yes. So she shows up to him in present day halfway through the issue, and at the end when he's strangling Harley, and it almost ends kind of like the Killing Joke, where he's got her up against the bat signal, and we just like it's raining, right, and the beautiful art's got the puddle underneath them, and you can see a reflection of Enchantress, sort of upside down in the puddle, looking up at where Batman is, as if that she's kind of manipulating. So if he did kill the Joker, if it was him that did it, then maybe it was because he was being controlled or manipulated by Enchantress. So, it's dealing with some of this stuff. And it's funny because I liked it the more it went on because the art was really good, and I'm liking the idea of being haunted by, you know, Enchantress, by Joker, by all that stuff.
It's very Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight?
Yeah, the game.
Which part of Arkham Knight are you thinking specifically? Oh, okay, I get you. It's not because he's not. I don't want to spoil the game.
No,
but it's.
I haven't read the first issue because it actually came out the week I was at a con. So I've not got the context here. Just the way you described it kind of sounded like that.
No,
to me.
Arkham Knight is very chatty. Arkham Knight is more like Dexter or like something like that. This is more like if the Joker's haunting him. It's kind of like if in a horror movie there was just like hints that his presence is there, but.
Right. Okay.
Joker never appears and speaks or anything like that. It's just the idea that the aura of the Joker is there. Because in the first issue they found like an altar that has like Joker eyes looking things on it.
Okay.
And it's like, is the Joker haunting him? But it's
okay.
more like a supernatural horror movie than it is a.
I'm with you.
So I never thought of Arkham Knight for that reason. It's nothing like it.
Just the way you were describing it, or it sounded like that without having the context of Reddit.
Yes. Honestly though, so how I feel about the story overall is kind of, you know, there's elements I like, there's elements I'm not sure what they're doing yet, but the art is so gorgeous that I think it's worth reading for the art alone.
This is because obviously having not read it at this point, I'm waiting for the nice hardcover to come out and just read it.
Yeah, with all 4 of the books on it. I will say for a book.
Is it 4? I thought it was only 3.
Yeah, maybe 4, maybe 3.
I think it's 3.
3 or 4.
I thought it was 3.
It doesn't really matter. If I got it wrong by 1 number, it's fine.
Right.
But the thing with the book though is that the books are like prestige sized, they're double sized, and it takes no longer to read than a regular comic book because it's very much letting the art do a lot of the speaking. It's not overly wordy. It flows very quickly. You know, so as a reading experience, it's quite pleasant.
Okay,
it's good to hear.
Very pretty. It's very pretty art. I can't emphasize how good the art is enough. Because I sort of started this going, oh, I can't remember the first issue. Maybe I won't be able to get into this. But the more it went on, the more I sort of was remembering things, and I was kind of piecing it together. And then I just couldn't stop reading it because of the art. I was like, no, I have to keep going. The art's too good.
That makes sense. It's Bermeo.
So yeah. Bryan Azzarello and Lee Bermeo. I didn't say that at the start, but there you go. That's what I'm down to.
A classic combo of a team.
Yes. So if I'm rating it, probably an 8.5. 8.5. I'm still not sure what it's doing with the story.
You're enjoying reading it anyway.
But the art is phenomenal, and it has some great sort of ideas sprinkled in throughout. So.
That's cool.
That's where it is. Then I'll probably read issue 3 when it comes out. I mean, I read it in a week where I had 10 other books, so I don't think it'll be a busier week than this, unless they really hit us with the onslaught at some point.
No, it'd be really nice if it could come out on week 3.
Yeah, that would be interesting. We'll get to what's out in week 3 soon. But that's the last book. That is the last book of the week. Finally, which means we are now on to our favourites of the week, which means we will be picking our favourite panel/moment, our favourite art, our favourite cover, and our top 5 books of the week. So we'll start with Matt with favourite panel/moment.
So it's from Superman. It's the 4 Candor punch. That was just
it's hard
so
to argue.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue. Connor, what you got?
Wonder Woman, the 2-page spread where she catches the lightning with the lasso and throws it back. That's phenomenal.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I feel like I want to pick something from the Batman annual, but I'm like, I can't think of a specific one thing.
No, that's it. That's such a good book, but it doesn't have that panel, that moment.
Yeah, not in the same way anyway.
It's too consistent.
This is true. I don't know. Yeah, in which case, I think I'm actually going to pick the same as Matt.
Boring.
I know it's boring, but It was going to be that or something from the Batman annual, I think, typically.
Yeah, it's so good.
But yeah, so no, that's what I'm going with. So best cover of the week then. And watch as we all go and try and look at covers now because
I'm trying to figure it out.
I can do honorable mentions, but I know without even looking that the Wonder Woman variant is the best because it's fantastic.
True.
Gorgeous cover, the way it glows. I really like the Justice League Dark variant, although I feel like that others won't.
Let me take a look at it.
It's a bit divisive.
A lot going on.
Yeah. I mentioned the Batman Who Laughs variant earlier, the Capullo one. It's so simple, but it's effective.
Yeah.
I have to admit, there's not. Usually, I'll come in with like an idea of what I wanted to pick, but there's not. I don't remember. Something.
The Hawkman variant's really good as well. There's a lot of good covers for me this week.
No, they're not bad covers, but there wasn't like a standout, amongst everything kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
What was the?
I mean, Supergirl's variant was pretty good.
Is it another Amanda Connor one with Crypto?
Yeah, so really up close of Crypto.
I mean, that's nice. Can I pick next week's Batman cover variant? Because that's my win.
Pick it next week. I haven't looked at it yet, actually. I'm gonna see it.
Something else.
I'm just gonna have to go with the Wonder Woman variant. It's really solid.
It's gorgeous, that cover.
Yeah.
It's the orange and gold glow to it that really make it pop. Yep. I could this would have been a really good one for the foil variants.
Yeah, because the way that it all catches the light and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what? I really tried to pick something else, but I'm going to say that too.
Yeah.
I just sat there looking through every variant of every book I read.
I really wanted like the Superman variant, but it feels like it's missing something. And
it didn't quite
Superman's
work.
face looks super weird.
Because I really like the last Superman variant that Hughes did.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot, but this one was a bit
really good.
Weirder. Yeah. All right, best art of the week then. Matt.
Yeah, so I try to figure something else out, but it has to be Jock, right? Like,
interestingly, Jock is my third choice.
Wow.
Oh my.
Because it came down between Ivan Reis and Jock, but just like I feel like I like the story more in Superman than the art, but I like the art more than the story in Batman Who Laughs.
I feel like for me, it's between Schmidt for the Batman annual, Reis for Superman, Nord for Wonder Woman, and Lupacchino for Supergirl.
Oh, Lupacchino too, but Lupacchino only did like 2/3 of that story.
That's true.
We never got
yeah,
back to that. It was a different.
Switch for the last little bit. That's true. That's true.
See, for me, it's down to Nord for Wonder Woman or Sempere for Justice League Dark.
That's another.
I think
this is a good week, that.
Yeah,
it is.
I'm gonna go with Schmidt. I liked Reese's Superman a lot, but it is just nothing but splash pages. I feel like Schmidt told more of a story with it's
got a flow to art. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to pick Schmidt. And it's been a while since we've seen Schmidt and anything on this show, so I am delighted to pick Schmidt.
Yeah. Oh. So, I'm going to ultimately come down on Nord for Wonder Woman.
Okay.
There's just too many moments where I'm like, oh, that is fantastic.
All right. So that was art. So top 5 books of the week then. That is where we are. We have a lot to pick from this week.
Yep.
So Matt, what was your top 5?
So number 1 is Superman. 2 is Hawkman. 3 is the Batman Annual. 4 is Supergirl. And then 5, this is where everything kind of gets jam-packed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to give it to Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connor?
Number 1 is Batman Annual. I did give it a 10 after all.
That's true, yes.
Number 2 is Hawkman. 3 is Justice League Dark. 4 is Wonder Woman. And 5, I'm going to give to Batman Who Laughs.
Number 1 for me is Batman Annual. Number 2 is... Okay, jeez. What a week. Number 2, I will say, is Superman. Number 3 is Supergirl. Number 4 is Wonder Woman. Number 5 is... Detective. There we go.
I do want to point out I did enjoy Detective. It says that, this was a very good week.
It was good. It was a good week. I had a lot. I mean, I like Flash a lot. I like Titans a lot. A lot of Sideways. A lot of things I liked that didn't make it onto my top.
It was one of those weeks where the top 5 meant something, unlike next week.
Well, hey, all 5 might be great though. So you never know.
I don't even know if we've got 5 next week.
Well, I'm just about to open up my thing, and we'll find out. All right.
I'm gonna count.
So, here we go. Where's my schedule? Here it is. I usually have this open from this before I even start the show. I just forgot to do it this week.
Slacking.
Here we go. So next week we have 6 books.
Yep, I counted 5.
We have Batman 61. We have Justice League 14. We have Justice League Odyssey number 4. Is that right?
No.
Okay, that moved. In that case, we have 5. Aquaman 43, which is the start of the new run, so that's a big deal. We have Catwoman number 6, and we have the first issue of that mini or maxi series, Freedom Fighters issue 1.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's what I was missing. I didn't even look at that.
Yeah, so that's what's coming next week. So since we only have 5 books, that means it's a question week. It also means that me and Connor will probably do our punishment issues next week.
Well, we kind of have to, because the week after
is the annual. Yeah,
we're not really doing books in that week.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we'll be doing our punishment issues, but we'll take questions next week though. So questions on Twitter. I will put out tweets near the time next week. You can also ask questions in the comments on YouTube for this one, and we'll answer some of them next week. Also, I think something we're going to do, since we've got our awards in 2 weeks for the end of the year. The week they don't have any books is the week we'll do our end of year awards.
Well, really nice to us this year, weren't they?
They were. It's really nice. We don't have to sort of squeeze it in on top of the regular schedule. So, one of the things we're going to do is that $1 patrons are going to get a chance to sort of submit their own favourites of the year, and then we'll kind of, in our award show, we'll do like sort of the patrons sort of picks or like winners of their voting.
The community result.
There you go. So we'll put out a form on Patreon, and everyone in the $1 tier and up can submit their favourite books of the year, their favourite series, favourite artist, writer. I don't know if we'll go more complex than that. It'll probably just be that, but. And everyone can put in a few of each, and we'll see what names pop up a lot and who's winning. May end up being the same as us. Might end up giving some spotlight to some names that we wouldn't have never have picked.
Yeah, I mean, you guys might read some books that we just don't, but maybe you guys are a fan of something that we all kind of dropped.
Yeah. That said, I will ignore every Scott Lobdell entry as a joke, just let that be known. So I won't really.
True.
Yeah, we will assume it's a troll answer.
Yes. But yeah, so we're going to do that. So obviously go to Patreon, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, and you can support us over there for as little as $1. You get access to that voting, but you also get access to other things. The monthly episode, me and Connor reviewing the next monthly this coming week. We're doing Batman Noel, plus the Christmas anthology issue that came out just a week or 2 ago. So that is what we're going to be doing on the monthly this month. But there's like 14 or 15 episodes already up from the past year and a half that you can go and listen to if you want to join up for that. Get us on the Twitter at DC Comics Podcast if you want channel updates and retweets of various news related to comic book stuff. You can like, subscribe, all the other stuff that helps us out. Comment, let us know what you thought of the books. But that is us. I think that's all my plugging. I think I successfully plugged everything that
You got it.
I suppose the one thing I will mention is we also do television from the multiverse. Me and Connor do that where we talk about DC TV shows every week. This is a particularly special week because they just had their big crossover for the year, which was Elseworlds, which was excellent. And me and Connor spoke so long on it that we ended up having to split the episode into 2 episodes. And the first one is just Elseworlds.
It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and then there's another hour or so of the other shows on a separate thing. So, worth mentioning, and it's doing super exciting things that is heavily inspired by the comics. And
realistically, a lot of you have probably seen it already because it was on news sites just to, hey, this is happening next year. It's cool as shit.
Yes. basically, this doesn't spoil anything, but at the end of the crossover, it gives you the logo for next year's crossover. So they're fundamentally saying this is what's coming, and it is a big deal. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when you haven't watched it yet and someone has retweeted that.
Doesn't matter.
It comes across you. I understand that, but Connor, I would have liked to come to it myself.
Yeah, but that's why I need to keep up to date with TV shows.
Yeah.
It's either comics or TV shows. I can't keep up to date.
I
with
will
both.
say, knowing it doesn't take anything away.
No,
from it,
because
because
it's one of those things. I get it, but still, I want that moment. You know?
Yeah. But anyway, so that is the show. That is episode 134 of Comics from the Multiverse, and I'll look really silly if that number's wrong after I go and check.
You exclaimed it so loudly at the start as well.
But I'm pretty sure it's 134. So thank you very much to everyone who's been watching or listening. We appreciate it always. We will see you guys next time for 135. And as I said, send in questions on Twitter and on the comments because it's a quiet week next week. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics and your dumb superhero stuff. And I say that with love. I don't mean that insultingly. I love this dumb superhero shit. But it can be very dumb. Sometimes we get very dumb talking about it. But yeah, so thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time. And always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
For Candor.